welcome everyone to episode 4. You motherfuckers do that. And, like, it washes out the microphone for the next 5 seconds.
Yeah, you didn't say anything important.
That's not.
Hey! Beautiful. Beautiful.
Welcome to episode 4. I almost said 5. Work in progress. You will notice. Actually, fuck it. Let's just do introductions. I'm Jake.
Andrew.
Brandon.
And I'm Mitch.
You will notice that Ian is not here with us today because he has a case of being a little bitches, but that's okay because we still love him.
This means everyone needs to be 25% more interesting tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We.
No, that works. That was 20.
Sure.
Well, because we need to make one person
Oh.
more. So if each of us gives an extra 25, then that'll make them 100.
But we would have lost.
And that'll be Ian's spirit.
But we would have lost 20% because if each of us was putting in 20%
Anyway.
100, we would each have to do 5%.
Well, no, obviously we
extra.
were all giving 100% every day.
Well, I mean, let's
so
not.
now we all need to give 125.
Let's not make assumptions. I kind of half-assed that.
Everyone just work a little harder today.
So, I don't remember precisely what we were going to talk about last week on this episode, but I remember kind of whatever. And failing that, I made shit up. Where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start with? You want to talk about voice reel stuff? Do you want to talk about GTA 5? Do you want to talk about comic books?
Let's segue into comic books so I can tell this story real quick.
Oh yeah,
it's not that
it's
interesting
like
of a story,
on the tip of his
but
tongue, though.
It is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I'm in the flea market yesterday, browsing for shit. This huge flea market, and I'm coming up on this aisle full of boots, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a bookshelf in one of the boots that very obviously has just a whole bunch of trades on the top shelf. So I'm like,
if you
Full outing trade? Like,
hold on. If you don't know what a trade is, because I'm sure some people don't, a trade is a collection of usually 5 to 7 issues of a comic book that were all in the same story arc.
yeah, like volumes of comic books, basically.
Yeah.
So I can see it from a distance. You know, they're these really easy to tell. They're on the nice, kind of glossy covers. So, ever so thick. Obviously comic book things. Once you've seen a couple of them, you know what you're looking for. So I see that and I'm like, oh snap! So many trades. I've been getting really into reading comics again lately. So that was like jackpot for me. So I get up on there and I'm like about to just devour these things. Literally, all of them are Superman. Fucking Superman comics.
Superman.
It was the greatest disappointment of my life. There were three Green Lantern books, which I texted Jake about.
You keep
I don't
talking,
remember
I'll look
which titles they were.
Keep talking, I'll find them.
I have literally no knowledge of the canon, so I asked him if they were any good. But I didn't end up buying any. I'm sure they'll be there later if I need to go back for
Yeah,
it.
those are
It was
good.
Sinestro Corps War, Wanted Hal Jordan, and Rage of the Red Lanterns, all of which are pretty good.
So I might go back for those. But aside from those, and there was I actually didn't even mention this to you when I told you, Jake, but there was a really old Spider-Man book there. It was Spider-Man versus Silver Sable. And I'm like, dude, I fucking love Spider-Man, and I don't want any of that.
No.
And it was old Spidey too. Like we're talking like
campy,
70s.
Disgusting Spidey.
Like the art style is obviously very old, and it's not interesting to slay. So I was like, wow, there's even a Spider-Man book here that I want no piece of. So that was unfortunate to say the least. I got really, really excited, and it was just all Superman bullshit.
Was it even
I'll
like
let down.
decent, like Red Sun?
I asked him the same exact thing.
Yes, the Red Sun was there. Not that I noticed. I know very little about decent Superman canon.
That's fine.
For what little there is, apparently. So I was looking out for, like, if Death of Superman was there, I would have picked that up.
Was that there?
Just
It was not.
for funsies.
But it was mostly stuff I'd either never heard of or knew was, like, notoriously bad. Like, they had Son of Superman, and I was like, I don't know. What?
I don't know what
Please,
this is.
Please don't.
Was it Son of Superman or Last Son?
No, it was Son of Superman.
Oh, okay. Because Last Son's actually really good.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
brings in Zod into the comics.
Yeah, but I don't know. I looked over all the titles, and none of them, like, rang a bell in my head of, like, oh, this is a good Superman comic. It was really depressing, if I'm going to be honest. And the worst part is they were literally all $4 a pop. And $4 for a trade is a great price.
I did.
But
I didn't get to respond to him until like 3 or 4 hours later. And I was like, "How much are they?" And he's like, $4. And I was like, "Buy them right now."
I was too far gone.
Yeah, he had left. It's funny that you mentioned the Spider-Man, like the old comic books though, because the art style in old comic books has never bothered me. Like to me, it's very much a product of the time, and it suits those stories very well. much like modern day comics. For the most part, most art suits the story being told very well. The problem I have with old comics is the writing. It's so bad.
It's really really stilted and kind of straight to the point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's very little nuance to it, and I'm actually at least mildly in the know on this. I years ago when I was still in high school, so we're talking like 5-6 years. There was a book at the library that consisted of the first like 20 issues of Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
Like the original, right?
Including the original first issue, which was Amazing Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got one of those.
And it was really neat to go back and read all of those. But wow, yeah, they're
rough.
it's a totally different experience. It was really cool because it's like when you're reading them, it's all of these characters and mythology that I know by heart, like the back of my hand. But it's like people who are reading this was the first time they were seeing any of these. Like the lizard was a completely new concept to them. The vulture was a totally new concept. So it was kind of trippy just from that perspective. It's like if I was reading Spider-Man for the very first time, this is what it would have looked like. And then I'm like, I'm kind of glad I didn't go.
I understand suddenly why comic books weren't that big.
I fell in love with Spider-Man because of the animated series in the 90s.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a Spider-Man playset with like a little Spidey and like Green Goblin and stuff. And I had Spider-Man cereal. And Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, in case it's not obvious.
He's a great one.
He's certainly a good pick.
And
I mean, he's no Green Lantern.
And then the movie would have come out when I was like 12 or so, and that basically just put the nail in it. It was, that movie was incredible to 12-year-old me. And I was like, that's it, Spider-Man, best thing ever.
Changed your life, just forever.
Nothing's ever gonna top that. So
did I ever tell you guys that I once totally boned? Actually, it was the only time I ever boned at a movie theater, and it was during Spider-Man 3. Because we were the only people in the movie theater, and that movie is just so boring sometimes.
Nothing better to do.
There's nothing better to do. We were sitting there, and we were just like,
It's okay.
I saw Spidey 3 opening day, and I was still totally in love with it. But I was like 17, I guess.
Yeah.
My taste wasn't like totally refined yet. I watched Spidey 3 now, and granted, there are a lot of things I still really like about that movie.
It has good moments.
I think it has the best fight choreography of the trilogy. Like in terms of the action set pieces and whatnot, really really cool fights. I love the back alley fight with New Goblin. When
That
he-
shit's rad.
he-
Yeah, that's
Harry
actually
flying
really
through
cool.
that tight little space. The last set piece of the movie where it's the giant Sandman and the venom webs all over the place. I mean, it's really cool looking.
Yeah, that was good.
But there's a lot of lame ass shit that goes hand in hand with it that everyone knows about. I mean, the movie bit off way more than it can chew, and you know the emo Peter dance. And Frank, there's no reason to go into it. Everyone knows what's wrong with that fucking movie.
I think I'm the only person that has no problem with the emo Peter dance.
It's
Because-
funny, but it's just weirdly out of place.
Exactly though, but it's funny, and I was watching it, I was just like, this is great. This is fucking hilarious.
I think what really holds that sequence together is the fact that no one's in on it but him, in the sense that he thinks he's like the coolest fucker alive.
Yeah.
But there's like that scene where he's like eye fucking chicks and they're just looking at him like he's the
fuck
dumbest
are
dude
you?
on the planet. And like, that's kind of the saving grace of the sequence. It's not like the symbiote made him cooler, it just made him think he's cooler.
Exactly.
And he's still just a total nerdlinger who just doesn't have a chance with any of these women.
Looks like a douche.
How he got Mary Jane, we'll never know.
Well, I saw that when Peter Parker's friend, what's his name?
Harry.
Harry Osborn.
You know, when Harry died, the whole audience was laughing at that scene when he died. Everyone was like, bursting of what laughter.
He got stabbed with a snowball.
Yeah, that scene wasn't
Yeah, I mean,
executed
it was
super well.
hilarious.
It really, and the way like Venom lets out that shrill little yell of glee when he does
Yeah.
it, and just kind of carelessly tosses him aside. It's
Yeah.
it's actually pretty funny when it shouldn't be. Like it
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
heart wrenching. And thank God the scene where he's actually like over Harry, like once they've gotten rid of the baddies and he's Harry's dying breaths or whatever. Then it's actually kind of touching. But
It's
like
a
the
little
scene
better.
where he actually gets fucked, it's
A
like
little better.
it's
Kind
just
of hilarious.
It's kind of hilarious.
Which makes sense, because it's Sam Raimi, and obviously, like, these movies, he wanted to take Spider-Man in a more whimsical direction.
Yeah.
He didn't want to make it, like, super heavy fucking grimdark like Nolan Batman, which is fine. Like, I love me some Nolan Bats.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's just, that's not what Sam Raimi was
Well,
doing.
yeah.
There also aren't that many, like, dark Spider-Man, gritty, grew up on the streets without an uncle. There are some, but I'm just
Clearly
saying...
have never read Spider-Man Reign.
I have, actually.
Oh, okay.
Craven's Last Hunt.
That too.
Crazy
Craven
dark
Hunt.
too.
Yeah. Shit is- oh,
but,
God.
but
I'm just saying for the most part,
compared to
it's-
say Batman, there are nowhere near as many super dark stories in Spider-Man.
Because Spidey's too quippy.
I have been rereading Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like the first time I read the series was years ago, so I'm kind of rereading it again for the first time. And I'm still crazy impressed with how good parts of
it's
that series
fantastic.
The Venom storyline in Ultimate Spidey is so fucking good.
I just finished up the Venom. I'm on issue 52 right now. We just
Yeah.
got through Black Cat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But there's some really well handled stuff in this series. I love the relationship dynamic between Peter and MJ. They're constantly kind of in this state of emotional flux, and I think it's one of the best portrayals of that relationship I've seen. Because there's a lot of ways to fuck that up, but like at the core, it's supposed to be two people who love each other, but are constantly having to fight with that because of
He's
him
a
being
superhero,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
And that's fucking hard to deal with.
And it's more than just like the kind of Ross and Rachel will they won't they bullshit. It's actually like they both want to, they just can't.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't feel like drawn out like those sitcom romances where it's like, Jesus, just get together and bone already. You're obviously perfect for each other.
Yeah.
It's like they are getting together and boning because they are perfect for each other, but at the same time there are external forces that make it harder and harder to be together. And I think in Ultimate Spider-Man especially, that's very, very well handled.
Did you get up to them doing Sinister Six yet?
No, I haven't, but
So
I'm excited
That
to
one's
get back
pretty
to that.
good, yeah.
The only time I've ever liked Sinister Six is that story. I don't
It's
even
a really
like
good
Sinister
one,
Six now.
I'm
I
just
like
really,
the
really stoked to
storyline.
just devour the whole series at once, because the first time I read it, it was probably through like issue 120 maybe.
Yeah.
So then I got the slow burn the rest of the way up until, spoiler alert, the death of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or
Which
the death
has
of Peter
already been
Parker.
spoiled because fucking news everywhere was
Well,
like,
yeah,
Spider-Man died!
and the series is literally called Death of Peter Parker.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that you couldn't, like,
You could
they
not know
intended
about
to
it.
spoil it.
Yeah.
The whole, the
It's how he
the
gets there.
appeal of the arc was, well, how the fuck does he die?
Yeah.
It was the same thing when they killed the Human Torch a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
They came out like 2 months ahead of time. They're
They were
like,
like-
we're gonna kill the Human Torch.
It was when they first came out with it. They were like, someone in the Fantastic Four is going to die, and like 3 days later,
that's
it was
right.
leaked that it was Johnny, and everyone was like, "What the fuck, man?" Because why would you kill the only good member of Fantastic?
Pretty much.
Other than maybe the
Other than
Thing.
Thing,
I like
yeah.
Thing.
But anyway, so I'm just really excited to just kind of devour the whole thing at once and literally run from like issue 1 to 160 all in one go. So I can literally see like the rise and fall of Peter Parker all in kind of that one little
Yeah.
perfect
Well, it's
arc.
because of that.
And then
they-
Miles Morales.
Yeah. Well, it's because of Ultimate Spider-Man also, like, that Kitty Pryde actually started getting in popularity again, too, because she left the X-Men book, like Ultimate X-Men, and they just said, look, can we have her?
Well,
For such a long time, and that actually was really awesome.
that
dynamic,
also
yeah.
worked so well because they did that right along the time that Joss Whedon started doing Astonishing X-Men, which was very Kitty Pryde centric.
Yes.
So he worked. I think he worked in tandem with them. I don't remember exactly, but I know at one point they were working at least together on Kitty Pryde. But those two combined easily would have brought her to the top.
Are you telling me that Joss Whedon ran a series with a focus on a female character?
I know, right?
Shocking.
I
It was
don't
surprisingly
fucking
well
believe
done.
you.
Never in my
If
wildest
I've learned
dreams.
anything about Joss Whedon, it's that he hates writing women. He would just
Hates them.
He
Hates
wouldn't
them.
use them at all if he
No,
could help it.
Just thinks that they're nothing. Fucking Joss Whedon is.
Also one of my favorite people, right
There
there
you
with
go.
Spider-Man. If Joss Whedon made a Spider-Man movie, that would probably complete my life.
If they ever get the rights back to Spider-Man,
Yeah.
They
maybe
could get him in the Avengers.
they can't.
They will make a
But I
$1
do like
billion.
what Mark Webb's doing with Spidey, so I'm kind of okay with the way the world is right now.
That's my favorite part about the new Spider-Man movies is the director's name is Mark Webb. just like in the Ang Lee Hulk, the main actor was Eric Bana.
I didn't know. I forgot about that.
No, the day they announced Mark Webb, I was like, fate.
Fate
His
done.
name is literally Webb. I mean, come on, guys.
It had to be done.
He's the chosen one.
No, it's like it's the fucking like the new Doctor in Doctor Who played a guy in World War Z who's like
Oh, yeah,
credited
yeah.
as the World Health Organization doctor.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
So he's the Who doctor.
Yeah, I just have this image in my mind of Stephen Moffat like sitting at a table, like racking his brain, like who he has like a list of actors in front of him that have all tried out. Which one of these motherfuckers is going to be the new Doctor? And then he just like he goes and sees World War Z, and he sees Peter Capaldi in the fucking credits. He's like him.
No, I like to think all of the pages, all of the resumes on his desk just like blew away. And his was just glowing in the aftermath.
With, like, a
the
shine on
only
the
one
credit.
left on the desk, and it's just glowing, and the World War Z credit is just shining. Oh my god.
Given to him by the
I
gods.
found him!
Of course.
So, I was going to talk to you about something with comic books, and I don't remember what it was.
That's okay.
God damn it. Voice reel stuff. What have you done in that?
Well, our radio play that we were doing finally got recorded on Saturday. It's called Montgomery Hotel. I'll post a lot more stuff about it when it finally gets released.
Yeah, you will.
What I was hoping would happen, because there were 5 plays or so,
yeah.
But I got cast in the one with the biggest cast of 16 to 17 people. Most of them with very bit parts, and I'm just going, well, I hate to say it, but that's way too many people I doubt all of them are going to be able to join in.
Yeah.
Why not just multitask and get a couple actors to do multiple people? So it's like the day of the recording, and he basically says, all right, this person and this person and this person all dropped out. And
Of course they did.
because of schedule things.
Well,
and
there
part,
we go.
Oh, yeah, it's totally because of schedule things.
It honestly was. They're all just like, yeah, work came up and they can't be here for the recording days. And I was like, oh, okay.
I can't show for this bit part.
So I read
It's 2 lines.
I read for my 5-sentence character, and he just goes, he literally, this is at my rehearsal that I got to show up too late. He goes around the whole room, then after we're all done reading, he just goes, Mitch, I need a savior. Can you be savior? Like, yeah. And so
Did you tell him in a completely different voice? So that
Like your Xavier voice?
I said, well, sure, what is he? And he goes, well, he's a painter, he's a starving artist, he does all this. And so I start trying to sound like a snob. Because every every artist that I've seen,
It could be Xavier.
I normally get that kind of attitude. But in a joke in passing, I did my Bane voice, and he goes, hold on, do that. And I said, what?
What was the...
Really?
No. Use
Well,
your Batman voice.
So I was joking along. I was just talking to Nathan, who was at rehearsal, and he just goes, hold on, what was that? I'm like, that's my Bane. And he goes, can you try, just as a joke, to reading it as Bane? I was like, really? And he goes, yeah.
Are you sure?
Just as cool.
And so he's an artist, and most of his lines is like, I have this subject that I can control. And the joke is like, oh, well, you got to step up to your subject and get him. I mean, what's the project? I'm doing a self-portrait. And it's one of those. But I just started talking in the Bane, and we did a read-through, and he just goes, yeah, now we have to do it. And I went,
That's the answer.
okay.
That's the one.
But I'm really, really interested to see how that turns up, because for the other character he hired me for originally, we got into kind of this. I did this voice that he was loving, and so I expected he wanted me to do that again, and so he said no, and he goes, I'm picturing this character like Mark Wahlberg and the other guys, and he keeps on going have you seen it? I'm like, yeah. And it's that whole attitude of, I'm a peacock, Captain, you gotta let me fly! And so I was like, all right. So I read it kind of like me doing my Mark Wahlberg, which is meh.
This is Marky Mark.
It's Marky Mark.
No one can Marky Mark like Marky Mark.
Exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. And so a lot of the people didn't hear me reading at all as the character I was supposed to be. So it's the day we're recording. And I walk up and I'm just like, yeah, I'm on it, man, I'm on it. And everyone kind of went... Everyone kind of scooted back. So and then the big point that I'm building up to it is I finally got to get in touch with a friend of mine. We're finally going to get together and work on my voice reel on Thursday. For those of you at home, a voice reel is kind of like your audition tape that you send to cartoon places, anime places, radio, anywhere, anyone who just needs voices. That's your audition tape.
It's like your resume.
Yeah, exactly. So she basically just says, all right, it should only take maybe an hour, maybe 2 at the latest. She just said, make a list of every voice that you can do, and we'll kind of go through. And I'm going, oh, okay.
All of them, huh?
So
Every voice.
Every voice.
every voice, yeah. So that's my homework for tonight and tomorrow.
Making a list of every...
Making a list. I'm going to go through literally every other list that I've made and just go, just hope I get something.
Don't forget to get all of your Justin voices.
My Justin
Like
voices?
Your Russians, your Germans.
Oh,
your
yeah.
fucking
Oh, my
Irish.
accents.
You're
My South Park accents.
Jake is, I believe, referring to an old roommate of mine
Yes.
and a good friend of all of ours who, usually when he's drunk, would just bust out a random accent and speak with it for a good portion of the night.
And he would do it like completely straight face. Just like he'd start doing it, you'd be like, Justin, why are you doing this accent? He's like, I'm not doing an accent. He's totally just fucking doing an accent.
You would often commit to the bit for a very long time in order to convince people that he was from a different part of the world.
Even if they knew he wasn't.
Yeah. Like I lived with him for a year, and he busted it on me. I'm like, dude,
I live with you. I've heard you.
I've heard not only your normal voice, I've heard all of these like 100 times. Stop it.
Well, you also have a friend who, when he gets tipsy, he starts speaking German, Zali.
Oh, yeah.
He always would speak German, and he would like just talk like it was no big thing, and all of us would be like, he's trying to tell us something.
I can't understand
And then when
it,
he got really drunk,
I know he was doing his drunk code.
when he got very, very drunk, it'd always be like a slurred Chinese.
Shit.
And he could speak Chinese, but he'd be slurring because he was really drunk, and all of us would be like, we want to understand. You're physically making it impossible for us to understand.
You're literally making it like 3 times as hard as it needs to be to understand what you're saying.
Do you want water? Would you like water?
Not only are you speaking a different language, but you're fucking it up while you're doing it. So it's like, how in God's name am I supposed to comprehend you right now?
It reminds me
Anyway,
of I showed Andrew this yesterday because Sonya showed it to me, but it's a song by this Norwegian.
Oh, Lord.
I assume it's a joke band. I've heard nothing else about them, but it's like their name is like Ylvis or something. But the song is called The Fox.
It's Elvis with a Y instead of an E.
Yeah.
Is how it's spelled.
Oh.
Yeah, but the song is called The Fox, and it's fucking huge on YouTube. Last
Really?
night it had 32 million views,
Oh, shit.
and the entire bit is that no one knows the sound that a fox
Yeah,
makes.
okay, yeah, I saw that.
And it's like this.
That's great.
It's like this really awesome like house club beat, and they
They're in
do.
the forest.
Yeah, they're in the fucking
They're in the
forest, like in the
forest.
music video, and they're playing the whole thing like it's a legit like European club song, like just
Yeah.
stereotypical
Yeah.
fucking like Swedish House Mafia kind of shit.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking funny for I don't know why.
Okay.
It's stupid funny.
It's great.
And I recommend it to I got on Facebook today, and it got to the point, I guess, where my mom posted that she was listening to it. Like, it was one of those things where she didn't have a status, it just said,
Is
my
listening
mom
to
is
this.
listening to The Fox by whoever the shit. And it's weird to think that my mom's up on
On
the
Facebook talking
new
about
internet
that.
shit.
Hi, Jake's mom.
Hi,
Hope
my
you're
mom.
listening to this.
I think so.
I don't think
Well,
she
you
is.
mentioned that. I have to pitch this YouTube video just because it's probably my favorite in a while. I think it's been out it's had to have been at least out for a couple months, if not a year. I think I mentioned it before. It's one of those America Has Talent or America Got Talent or something.
Yeah.
And they pitched, the editor was so spot on because the reveal was so awesome. It was these two kids. It was a brother and a sister. The brother's 9, the sister's 6. And he's like, I play drums and my sister sings. And they play it up like they're just the cutest couple. And this girl is adorable because she's always like in these itty bitty skirts. And she's like, my name is this. And so they walk up and they're on the stage and they're talking to the 4 judges who are like, yeah, we're judges because, well, we're not doing anything else.
Yeah. We have failed music
And they're like,
careers.
so what are you going to do for us, sweetie? She's like, we're going to sing. And they're like, oh, okay. And so they walk up and the brother goes up to the drums. You hear, and they just keep smiling at this girl. And the girl starts doing Screamo. And it's like legit good Screamo, too.
Like
she's just
she's right.
itty bitty 6 blonde. And it's so cool. And like at one moment, 2 of the judges just stood up and did like the symbol for rock out or whatever in their hands.
Threw up the horns.
Yeah, they threw, and it was so cool. And they get voted, like, the 2 of the judges hit their X button, like, right away to make them stop. And me and one judge were, like, yelling at the computer, like, why? And then the guy just goes, does that hurt your voice? And she goes, uh-uh. He's like, why not? He's like, well, I've been singing with him for, like, a year. We've been practicing. I'm good at singing Screamo.
If you do that right, you can do it without totally.
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is a lot of people do it wrong.
Yeah.
And have to. In Shadows, lead singer for Avenged Sevenfold, screamed a lot in their early albums, but he wasn't doing it properly, so to speak. He had to have a vocal cord surgery between Waking the Fallen and City of Evil.
I'm still liking his voice though. Like, it still works.
You've always said that you think that him having to have surgery on his voice was the best thing that could ever happen.
Probably.
I do think it was.
I don't know if I agree with, because Waking the Fallen is a fucking rad album.
Waking the Fallen is great. I still think City of Evil's their masterpiece.
I agree.
So if it's a direct correlation to what happened there, then I agree completely with that.
Fair enough.
Does it change much, or is it just?
I mean, he just doesn't scream as much, and their music kind of adjusted accordingly.
Oh,
They
okay.
I don't really know how to describe it. They were a little more.
Less screamo.
No, they were more screamo before.
They were.
They weren't like straight up like emo kind of shit. They were very much like. I'm afraid to call them metal because it's not really metal.
Well, metal is basically what they are now.
Yeah.
Starting with City of Evil, they kind of went for a more traditional metal band thing.
Yeah.
And their newest album is mostly like old school classic metal. It's a lot of like Iron Maiden inspired stuff and whatnot. But in fact, it's really boring if I'm being honest.
Well, notoriously, the thing I always hear from like metal fans is that Iron Maiden is basically just like marching music.
Yeah, well, they drew from a lot of old bands that play like simpler stuff. Like through City of Evil, self-titled, and Nightmare, Avenged played this really like up-tempo, really fast kind of metal. Their drummer, the Rev, who has passed away since then,
sadly,
was very well known for being a really fast drummer, could double bass like a motherfucker. Like their music was really up-tempo and really speedy. I don't know if it's a product of their new drummer or not. It's kind of the reason they've slowed it down, so to speak. But on their new album, the drumming, for one thing, is really just standard, kind of boring, just kind of the same thing over and over. It doesn't have that kind of energy that you hear on their other songs. Like Critical Acclaim is a really good example. Other songs from that era. But their new albums kind of come under a little bit of fire. We've gone a total subject switch here, but
that's okay.
has kind of come under fire just from the fact that it basically just feels like they're just drawing influences from those older metal bands.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was, but it's like one of the guitarists for one of those old school bands. It was like, congratulations to Avenged Sevenfold for their cover album going #1 in the country. I was like, oh damn!
Oh shit! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Along with that, the little girl that I was telling you about, though.
Right.
One of the funniest parts is though, like they're just gotten buzzed, so now the judges are kind of talking to them, and in this great moment, they're just like, "What's the name of that song?" And this little girl just goes, "Zombie Skin." And the judges goes, "Of course it is."
I've heard much more offensive song titles.
I have too.
That could have gone a lot worse for the judges.
Look at any mindless self-indulgence song.
Or anal cunt.
Yeah, there you go.
Real band.
Woo!
I just want to point out, this is a really good subject, talking about our favorite YouTube videos on a audio podcast.
Just pause.
We're just going to sit here and describe to you our favorite
fucking videos. Okay, let's move past that because you have a really good point. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, continue your.
I was going to pitch it to him. Yeah.
What they're gonna do? What?
Well, didn't you want to talk about? You had a story that you wanted to tell us, I thought, and we saved it.
A story.
Something.
You said you were going to talk to him about his voice reel.
Oh yeah, the Lee Tokar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the voice actor. He's been putting up a site for a while called fanbuilt.com is what the URL. Basically, he describes it as an animated online studio. There are people who submit like voices and like scripts and like voice actor reels and just stuff like that, and people put it together and just it's like a collaborative online internet thing. Everybody like submits stuff and like works together to make these things, and the community votes on like what's like, votes on stuff, and the top stuff gets to the top of the list, and then
Gets made.
and cream of the top gets put onto a TV show.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's
that's kind of cool.
But is it like a
thing?
is it like a real TV show? Like
A
on
real
TV
show? Yeah,
show?
on TV show, yeah.
Oh shit.
I don't know what channel it'd be on. It might be on like satellite.
Has it
or
aired
something,
yet?
but No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
He's working on it though. It's like his baby. It's his baby.
Okay.
That's what he put all his energy into. Lee Tokar, fanbuilt.com. It's
What other voices has he done?
Yeah, because I didn't recognize the names.
no, you wouldn't have.
Of course you wouldn't, you
A
plebe.
lot of stupid shit like Barbie movies and stuff.
Hold on.
You say a lot of his stuff is like Barbie stuff?
Honestly,
What's
I'm
a
gonna have to
plebe?
look it up because I don't know. To
Okay.
be honest with you.
How do you spell the name?
Lee is Lee and Tokar is Tockar.
He's Swedish.
T-O-C-K.
It sounds like
I
Scandinavian.
will look into it.
No,
He's
he's Canadian.
Oh, he's Canadian.
So pretty much, yes.
Oh,
so
even
fucking
better.
whatever. I don't give a shit.
Oh.
On My Little Pony, he did a very effeminate sea serpent. Very effeminate.
Is it the one from the first episode?
Yes.
With the fucking mustache?
Yes, the moustache.
God.
Yes, I love that.
The thing that made me at least respect that episode
Yeah.
is the fact that while they're doing it, they call out the fact like she's like replacing his fucking mustache with part of her
What
tail
is
or
this?
something. My Little Pony.
My Little
Okay.
It's like the very first episode of My Little Pony.
Yeah.
And she's like doing something to replace this serpent's mustache because half of it's gone, and it uses her tail or something. And
So
there's
she's generous because she's given her beauty.
yeah, exactly. and they're all like different pieces of friendship or whatever the shit.
Yeah.
Sure.
And something about the spell, she doesn't need to use her horse hair. She can just do it. And one of the horses is like, why wouldn't you just do it the normal way? And the fucking horse that's doing it, I swear to God, is something like, just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just plays it off like, shut up, don't draw attention to it.
Exactly.
Looks like it's a lot of additional voices on the resume here.
Yeah, a
That's
lot
kind
of bit pieces, but
Did do the voice of MODOK on Iron Man Armored Adventures.
Okay.
Whoa!
Oh shit, we got a big name up in here.
Man!
MODOK!
Only the coolest of cool.
It does. It does.
A lot of little parts.
Well, that's
for big
good though.
people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of additional voices, but I should point out there are indeed a lot.
There are
Like,
a shit ton of voices.
you know,
He really does a lot of voices.
he's getting steady work. I mean, there's no
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
And
So-
even sometimes big name actors do additional voice. Fucking Nolan North is
Yeah,
an
Nolan,
additional voice
Nolan
in
North
every
is
fucking
additional
game.
voices all the time.
Kevin Michael Richardson all
Yeah.
the time.
Every time.
Troy Baker, I'm sure as well. He's become one of the big new voices of video games.
He's
this
going to be
year
the Joker.
because he
Coming up.
was he was the voice of Booker DeWitt in Bioshock Infinite, and also the voice of Joel in The Last of Us. So
Oh, cool.
he was a driving force in probably the two biggest gaming narratives of the year.
I
So-
know that they based the character in Infinite off of his likeness, actually. Yeah. Which I thought was really cool.
as they are so inclined to do these days. So he's getting right up there in terms of the big names. In fact, he also voices the default male voice in Saints Row 4.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
your
I didn't know
creative
that.
Guy. So if you just choose like voice 1, you're Troy Baker.
Is he the one that's in the trailer or like the television commercial
I couldn't tell
where
you.
he's like I prefer puckish rogue or whatever.
I mean, it could
Yeah.
be. The thing about voice actors is sometimes they sound completely different.
Yeah,
from others, so you don't always recognize
the nature of their work. In
I
fact,
should point out that one of the reasons I most want to play Saints 4 is that apparently one of the voices you can give your guy is just called the Nolan North voice. And it's just Nolan North voices your character.
That's
They
fantastic.
don't even call it like male 4. He's literally become such a big deal that he gets name dropped in shit now. I don't even know who that is.
Nice.
That's how you know you've made it in voice acting. I
when
think.
you're self-referential, yeah.
When people actually know your fucking name, like
That's pretty
a
cool.
pretty big deal. Like.
Even in video games, that shit doesn't happen very much.
I guess the biggest indicator would be once people start recognizing your face, then you really know you've made it. It's like, I never show anyone my face and people still know what it looks like.
Yeah. Oh. Fucking. Okay.
Oh,
So
fucking-
yeah.
I completely agree. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, voice actors.
Woo. All right. So
They took all.
voice acting. What are you? You don't have. Do you have any like characters that are like notoriously yours?
I got a handful.
'Cause
I used this one actually for the audition. I have. Again, most of my voice acting, like when I come up with new voices, is most of the time when I'm driving like a long distance and
Yeah.
I'm just bored on the road.
You just start talking to yourself. in
Yeah,
voice.
like my MP3 has died, or I'm tired of listening to it, or
Mitch,
whatever. I
have you
just start-
seen a therapist about your possible schizophrenia?
Thank God I'm an actor.
Yeah,
otherwise-
exactly. Otherwise, you would have to give a shit.
I would be put away.
The best
like-
kind of schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kind where hopefully they'll eventually pay me for it.
Yeah.
Voice in your head.
Well, like there are some that I do by accident that become impressions. Like for example, one I call it the standard radio commercial voice.
Yeah.
Occasionally, it slips into the Disney Channel voice.
Do it.
Well, yeah, I'm going to give an example. Like you'll be just driving down and you'll see like a McDonald's billboard just saying like turn left here if you want Great Eats or whatever.
Big Mac, 2 for $5.
Yeah, and then
That's a really good fucking deal.
They always sound
Damn.
just like, coming new to Taco Bell, we've got all these great things. Things you probably already knew we had. Radio commercials always have that, we're kind of upbeat, but we can talk about whatever. You know, that's kind of that,
Did I
yeah.
ever tell you guys about the time that I passed the Golden Corral up in Clinton, and their sign out front just said, Chocolate Wonderfall, ooh yeah.
Chocolate Waterfall, oh yeah.
No, Wonderful.
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful.
They just started with their
Ooh,
chocolate
yeah.
like fountains that they have.
See, I imagine just...
I literally pulled off the road and took a picture with my phone because it was so fucking funny to me. I was like, I cannot believe that's just that's just what it's Chocolate Wonderful. Ooh yeah.
I just imagine if a place like Golden Corral, I just imagine it's like a fountain they have set up in the middle of everything, and there's just like fat old women there in their fucking rascals just sticking their hands into the chocolate and just go.
It's not even women old women I worry about. It's fucking kids.
It's
Yeah.
You know the kids are like running up there and like washing their hands in it.
Sticking their
Fucking
faces in it.
Chocolate fountain. Like,
They will stick their hands in the chocolate fountain. I've seen it.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Children will stick their hands in anything.
There's sticks and fruit.
One of the
and
100
chocolate,
reasons that children are the devil.
Yes.
I wouldn't say the devil. They're at least Hitler. Maybe not the devil.
We always cover such interesting points in every one of
Well,
these.
it's like I always say, whenever someone's a terrible person, it always goes, there's Hitler, Stalin, and then you. That's how terrible you are.
Nice.
This wouldn't be a work in progress if we didn't get into some controversial shit.
Exactly.
once in a while.
Yeah.
It's time to talk about Hitler, I see.
Well, we did Jews in episode 1. So
Yeah,
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
Hitler.
And obviously now it's time to start talking about Hitler
Yeah.
and how
So-
he was such a goddamn hero, right, guys?
You want us to get murdered, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
you're-
so we're in the audition, and again, we're auditioning for like 5 radio plays, and this was honestly the one that I really wanted to get in. It's called Spaceship Stan or Starship Stan.
That's rad.
and it's very much like it's the radio play. Like, oh no, Starship Stan, what do we do? Well, we're gonna try it. It's very much like that. Like,
It's Zach Brandon.
That's a-
yes,
like campy ass, like Adam West Batman kind
like
of shit.
it even has like a break halfway through to be like, today's episode is brought to you in part by Snickers, the cereal that doesn't exist.
No,
Or, you know,
Charleston
whatever,
Chew.
something. Charleston
Did you
Chew.
say the cereal that
Yeah,
doesn't exist
I
for
did.
Snickers?
Well, he's right.
Yeah,
There is
I would
no
eat the
Snickers cereal.
shit out of Snickers cereal.
What
Are you
There's
joking?
Reese's.
I don't
Why
know.
is- There's Reese's. Why is there Snickers?
Yeah, exactly. It's the
Exactly,
same fucking
yeah.
thing. You can make like chocolate flavored puffs.
They'd have to
Why
have,
hasn't
like,
it happened yet?
but there's like nuts in Snickers.
Yeah, you can
Would there
make-
be like little nut
I think
flavored?
that-
It would be chocolate, caramel, and regular flavored like puffs, like kicks essentially, and then you'd have like peanuts in it,
Peanuts in cereal?
unsalted peanuts.
I would try that.
I would try it
I'd try
at
it.
least once.
Yeah.
And I love the shit out of. I mean, Snickers are no Twix, but I do love me some Snickers. Twix is
We're gonna get sued by the company.
no man. Twix is inarguably the best candy.
I will agree with that.
I think
really like
Reese's
Twix.
became a cereal
Standard.
because it is the easiest thing to break the ingredients down into artificial
Well, it
flavor.
sounds like
Except
cereal.
puffs.
Chocolate, peanut butter, boom.
Sounds like cereal companies need to try a little bit
There's
harder.
nothing complicated about that.
I mean-
It's not like making a fucking Milky Way cereal.
I haven't seen a great innovation in cereal since the invention of Lucky Charms.
Yeah, man, where's all the
Yeah.
new fucking cereals?
Yeah.
God damn it!
This is the real issue at hand. You know what really sucks?
2013.
When did
Nobody
Trix
cereal.
stop being shaped like fruit?
Twix was shaped like fruit.
It was shaped like fruit.
Now it's
Believe it or
just
not.
little balls, but it used to be shaped like fruit. I'm not crazy here.
No,
right?
I remember
I'm not
what you're talking
insane.
No, now it's just tiny. Now they're all just
Now they're
tiny
just
colored
puffs.
balls.
What do you
That's
fucking
easy.
do?
It was part of the Trix charm, man. It's like if all of Lucky Charms just became a bunch of just mindless circles.
I don't
And
give
there
a
were no
shit what
hearts,
the
stars,
cereal-
and horseshoes, clovers, and blue moons, spots of gold and rainbows, and the red balloons.
It'd be red circle, yellow circle, blue circle, and still yellow circle.
I'd still eat the shit out of it as
Yeah,
long as it had marshmallows
There's
in
nothing
it.
catchy about that at all. Does the Trix rabbit even care if it's not shaped like fruit?
No, because he's maniacal. He just wants to take the cereal from these poor, innocent children.
Is that really so
They will
wrong?
share that.
Yes!
That poor rabbit just wants some goddamn cereal.
They
Andrew,
won't
this
share.
is literally like it's like an inch away from being tantamount to taking candy from children.
Could they not just give him a bowl once in a while?
No!
That's all.
They're
Don't,
fast.
Cereal's expensive,
don't
man.
all of us just want to sit down and
$3.50.
have a bowl once in a while?
Well, it's like the Cookie
I
Crisp
mean, not me.
hamburger
I
thing.
quit smoking a while ago, but
It's that same idea where the whole joke is the kids have it, the mascot wants it, but for some reason the mascot can't get it.
Why are you the mascot of a product you've never eaten?
I know.
Why do they put the rabbit on the box if the dude's never even tasted that shit?
Must be good. He
Maybe
wants it.
it's like
Number
that.
one customer. He
Maybe it's
wants
that whole syndrome where you want
Getting
I don't know
deep
if it's-
into it.
No, like the thing where you always want something more when you can't have it.
Maybe that's why it's such efficient advertising, is because that rabbit endorses that product despite the fact that he's never had it. So you're like, damn, that must be awesome shit.
Especially when you're fucking 6 years old and
'Cause that just-
rabbits are cute as balls.
That means it just looks good,
There's no
or
cute
like
balls.
smells good, or some shit that rabbit can process.
Oh man,
Because he's never even eaten that, and he's on the box like, hey, buy some tricks.
they're fucking delicious.
They're incredible.
I
Please
must
give me
say
some.
that.
Make money off my misery.
So Sonia has a pet rabbit and a pet guinea pig, and I will preface this by saying the guinea pig smells by far worse
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's a rodent. Rodents notoriously just smell worse.
Like shit.
But
Like
that
this.
fucking rabbit, its name is Stash because it has like on its lip it has a little like black mark and it looks like a mustache. Well, it's rabbit lip, quote unquote.
Right.
They don't really have lips,
Right.
but anyway, that rabbit has ruined rabbits for me because it doesn't smell horrible like the guinea pig does, but it still reeks because it's still a fucking like small animal in a cage with wood chips, and it is the meanest goddamn. It's
What is the
friendly.
guinea pig's
It's
name?
friendly to Sonia.
What is the guinea pig's name?
Greta.
Greta, okay.
Because she's a sassy black woman, apparently.
Thank you.
But Stash, like, and I understand it because Sonia has a 6-year-old, and Day is taking that rabbit out of its cage like every 5 fucking minutes. So the rabbit is probably just pissed that it won't, like, no one will leave it the fuck alone.
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, I try to take it out, and Day just like fucking grabs it and just like rabbit and just like squeezes the shit out of it because she's 6. And I'm like gentle with him. I'm like, oh, Stash, come here. And I hold him in my arm. I pet him a little bit.
Oh, good
and then,
Stash.
like, if I hold him for more than like 30 seconds, he like starts nipping at my finger.
Yeah.
And, like let me the fuck
That's what
go.
bunnies do.
No.
Yeah, and like scratching the shit out of you. I'm like, God damn it, rabbit. Why can't you be more just like a normal pet where I can just hold you and love you? But no, you make it so hard.
Did I mean, you might have heard it. I don't think I've told you guys. I definitely haven't told you. Is
The microphone, not the listeners.
this microphone.
And Brandon.
Did I tell you my rabbit name? I'm gonna have a rabbit one day, and I've got a name picked out
No.
for him already. It's
Is
gonna
it-
be a little
Is
boy
it
rabbit.
Robert
I'm
Klein?
going to name him Captain Motherfucker.
Hell yes.
Because
Captain Motherfucker.
hell yes.
Yeah.
It's
funny.
the perfect name because it's just awesome. There's no further logic behind it. And if my parents ever come calling, they're like, "Oh, what a cute rabbit! What's his name?" I'm like, "Oh, he's the captain." I don't have to like
Good save.
dive into that. Except now my mom's probably listening to this. She's like, "Oh, I heard Andrew's doing a podcast, but he's talking about how fucking awesome Hitler is and how he's going to name his rabbit a profane word."
Captain motherfucker.
Now my mom's cool. If
First
my
name
mom's
Captain,
listening,
last
I
name
love you, mom.
motherfucker.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I saw
I
on,
apologize for
was
listening
it
now.
was it your mom or your stepmom that said she wasn't going to listen because it was like
My
irritating
stepmom
kind
said
of
she
shit?
wasn't going to listen.
Yeah,
Which I sort of appreciate.
yeah. I mean,
We say
Now watch, she's going to listen to this and be like, "What the fuck's
there was
that?
see, I would give more
I'm a
of
terrible son."
I would give more of a shit that my mom listened if I didn't know all this stuff that I know about like when I was growing up.
Right.
Like, perfect example is my first relationship at high school. It was very sexual.
It was a carnal relationship.
First
seriously,
relationship. First relationship.
seriously, very
Sexual.
first relationship. Huh?
First relationship.
I'm not gonna
First
say
one
names.
was sexual. Sexual.
I like
It
the
was, yeah,
term
this was my first.
carnal.
Well, okay, it was my first real sexual relationship. Like,
Okay,
I had
okay,
sex
okay.
before I was in a real relationship
I understand now.
because of other shit, but this is the first like relationship that involved sex.
Okay.
But we would write notes to each other, like, and pass them during passing period, you know, like,
Yeah.
because we were in fucking high school. And I would forget at the end of the day, and I just leave them in my pockets. And so, like, 3 days later, my mom would be doing my laundry, and I learned this story from my sister because I guess she told my sister one night. And I guess my mom would find them, and she'd be like, "Oh, and Jake and his girlfriend wrote a little note," and she'd open it up and just be like, "Oh my god!"
Can't wait to suck your cock.
That's exactly what it was, except we were in fucking high school and we thought it was fucking adorable, so like, I would call her vagina, like, her cookie, and she would call my dick, like,
her banana.
Gonna eat that
I'm
cookie.
gonna
eat that cookie, girl.
Oh man, I'm gonna lick that banana. And I think about it, and I just hate myself. And then I think about the fact that my mom had to read them, and I really just want to stab myself right in the fucking chest.
The important thing to know is that our parents always have way more dirt on us than anyone else in this world.
Oh yeah.
So it's best to just sit back and appreciate them. But thanks, Mom, for not telling the world all of the fucked up shit you know about me. And even better, thanks for not telling me all the fucked up shit you know about me. Because as far as I know, out of sight, out of mind. I'm a perfect little angel, right?
Yep. I'm the fucking best at what I do.
Yep. Shout out to Mom.
Shout out to Mom.
Jake's
there you
mom.
go. Shout out to my mom for being a trooper.
So
What were we talking about?
back to voicing.
Yeah, you're fucking voice.
We didn't trail off voice acting to like 5 different
It's okay.
things.
Mom.
Here we go.
It's
All right.
okay. We knew that would happen.
That's what this whole podcast is about.
There you go.
So we're reading for the Starship Stan or whatever, and there's a character who's like the sidekick who's kind of scared. Like that's the goal. The
Kiff.
Was it your part?
kind of yeah.
Did you do that?
I didn't end up getting in this show, but I knocked it dead with that read through because like the director goes up. He goes, I'm thinking if I can relate it to any kind of character, think Milhouse from The Simpsons. I'm like, all right, I can't exactly do Milhouse, but I have something in mind. And so the character has, because it's supposed to be all campy and fun, the character has a catchphrase apparently, which is diabolical. And so literally,
Like whenever there's a pause, you're like, diabolical.
well, kind of, but he's the nervous sidekick.
Oh, okay.
So literally, like it was the guy reading, and he just goes, the character's name that I was reading for was Boomer, which is perfect. And he just goes, well, Boomer, what do you think we should do? I was like, I don't know, Stan, what do we do? Oh, no, stuff like that. And then they come around and they're just like, oh, no, it looks like the meteorite's going to get little Timmy. I was like, diabolical! So we're all reading it again. We're planning on reading it again, and the director just goes through. He's like, all right, you're playing Stan. Read it more sexual. You're reading the nurse. Read it more sexual. And then he gets around to me and he just goes, you're reading Boomer. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, read it more sexual. And I just kind of looked at him.
What kind of show is this?
And I just
Sign up for a porn, sir.
And I just looked at him and I'm just like, in that same voice. And he goes, if you can. I'm like, all right, I have an idea.
I have an idea.
So he gets around to me and he's like, oh, what do you think we should do, Stan? And we get around to the catchphrase, and he's just like, oh no, it looks like that meteorite's gonna hit this. What do we do? And I just go, diabolical. And everyone just gives me this, what? Look. And they're like, was that you trying to be sexual? Like, that was the character attempting to be sexual.
I think we can call it a swing and a miss.
A buddy of mine.
I've never been less aroused.
I think my penis went inside me. In fact.
A buddy of mine, he's actually my roommate. He doesn't audition for anything. He normally is just behind the scenes, but he was really excited for this idea, mostly because he wouldn't have to memorize lines. And he just goes, well, I can't do anything like... He read for the same character, and he just said, I can't really do Milhouse, but would you care if I did like a Burt Ward Robin kind of thing?
Right.
And he just goes, yeah. So he's like, oh, this and this and this. Like, holy cow, Batman. That whole thing. And he ended up getting the part, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So, apparently the second script for both Starship Stan, which I might try and audition for again, and the hotel one, which I was in, both have second scripts. So while I'm probably going to be in that one, I hope this doesn't lock me out of the other ones.
Right.
Because I wouldn't mind being part of, like, in today's news, or whatever.
Yeah, that shit would be rad.
Whatever. But that's the end of the voice acting thing for now. We made it, guys. It only
Well,
took
great.
We made it.
Now what are we going to talk about?
Literally half a fucking hour. We have plenty to talk about. We can always talk about
Well,
Green
no,
Lantern.
but everything was offshot from voice acting.
That's true,
So
yeah.
if that's done, we've got nothing to start up these conversations.
No, we don't. We have the fact that Mitch and I were in the same shirt.
We're deadlocked.
We're wearing the same shirt.
They're both
Years
wearing
ago.
the Green Lantern shirts.
We're all
it's
wearing
amazing.
the same shirt, right?
It's a coincidence,
guys?
right? Yeah,
I'm not getting behind this. No.
This is Green Lantern.
You're wearing a My Little Pony shirt. I don't think I've ever seen you in outside of work. Brandon and I work together.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
at home.
You
I don't
are.
ever think I've seen you outside of work not wearing a My Little Pony shirt.
I wear them to work because I can wear them underneath my coat.
Yeah, underneath your shit, yeah.
Because it's like inside joke with myself.
Yeah, you're like, I'm secretly a brody.
Hilarious.
No, it's like, I imagine it's a lot like, there was one time I was helping somebody, and they had a fucking, they had like a Batman shirt on.
That's
and
great.
it's the couple that comes in who's like, they look maybe like their late 20s, early 30s. They have like 2 little kids, and they're always talking about like video games or comic books.
That's great.
Yeah, and the guy was wearing a Batman shirt, and they were talking about DC versus Marvel.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, they mentioned something about Green Lantern, and I was like, oh man, I love Green Lantern. And the wife was like, okay, well then here, what do you think? Do you think Marvel's better or DC better? Or DC's better, even despite your Green Lantern liking? And I was like, and I was wearing this fucking shirt underneath it, and I was like, well, and I just pulled it open, like fucking Superman pulled it open.
Pulled the coat open. Green Lantern.
Just boosh,
What
right
did you do?
there.
I am biased.
The guy laughed his ass off, and the girl just like kind of crossed her arms, like in a huff.
On his little inside joke remark, I couldn't help but suddenly picture like a world where I like go to work at my pizza delivery job, but I'm like wearing a shirt underneath my pizza shirt that says like "fuck pizza."
Yeah.
I just like walked into work just like snickering. Like, I'm fucking hilarious. these poor bastards. I know.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah.
That's exactly how you're feeling. Like, you all think I'm entirely normal.
Secretly sticking it to the system.
Exactly.
Fucking pony on my shirt. Cartoon.
Okay, I got a story for you now.
All right.
So, okay, this was in high school. Driving to school, there's a stop sign right before I have to make the last turn, and I get a little love tap on my car, and I'm going, like, this is the first time my car has ever hit anything.
Like this car or like a car you own?
Like, it was, no, a car that I owned. Like,
oh, so like this first accident you
yeah,
ever
well,
been
it wasn't even like an accident. It was just literally a love tap.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Bump.
Yeah.
And I literally was just like, oh my, what? And so,
Hi.
but from the feeling of it, I didn't think
Nothing
it really did
happened,
much.
yeah.
So I kind of just turned off because we were so close to school.
Sure.
So I parked. The guy's car went flying past and went,
Thanks, guy.
well,
Yeah,
darn.
thanks
I
for
looked at my
stopping.
car. My car was absolutely fine. It was just one of those, I was more startled.
Yeah.
So I go to my locker and I'm just kind of like, well, at least I'm awake now. And
Yeah.
I'm slightly angry and I'm just, getting all my stuff out of my locker. And I guess my locker neighbor or whatever is talking to his friend. I know my locker neighbor, but I don't know this guy. And the guy just goes, so yeah, by accident, I think I got his car just by a little bit. And I stopped everything and went, that was you? And we just started talking, and I'm like, dude, it's fine. The car's all right and all that.
Picture him going like white as a sheet.
He did.
Fuck.
The ironic part is, it's after all that. It's maybe like 15 minutes into my first class, and I look down. This is back when I was in my snarky T-shirts phase, and I look down, and my T-shirt literally said, "That was you." ... And then I literally did this, the very loud hand smack in the head, just.
That must have been the most absurd moment of that guy's life.
Oh,
to see you, like, somehow fucking appear. The guy who he fucking ran into, who could have been any motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah!
And then your fucking shirt.
Says what you said.
Oh, shit.
It's like, I would
He
imagine.
probably shit himself.
I don't even know if he I didn't even notice.
Do you think that he thought Mitch was like some fucking guy who just goes around wearing that
Does
shirt,
that?
He probably
looking
thought
for
you were a fucking
conversations?
wizard or
Yeah,
something.
like wearing the shirt and looking for conversations to interject in solely for that joke.
That was you.
Oh my god! Oh boy, nothing else.
Yeah,
You're on candid camera.
I was just totally drunk last night. I just ran into the bathroom and just threw up everything. That was you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
We did so.
I got one other teaching
Okay, go ahead.
now.
Go.
Fuck around story. Again, this is high school. Whenever we got back from lunch, I would always my English class was right across from a friend of mine's English class. So I'd always get there like a couple minutes early, so I would put my stuff in the classroom, go across the hall, and mess with her until the bell rung, and then just go into mine. So I'd been doing this for about like a month, and it was no big thing. But this one day, the bell rung, and I was starting to get up to go, when finally all 3 kids stopped me and said, "I'm sorry to ask this. What are you doing here?" Like, they finally stopped, because my friend never told them. And even the teacher was kind of crossed her arms and looked at me too. Like,
Are you an intruder?
she was curious, and so I walked up to the board. I literally did this.
Oh, don't worry, kids. I left my gun at home.
I walked up to the board and wrote my name, like Mr. Bonkoski, and I'm like, "Hi guys, I'm actually a student teacher. You know how you have kids in college coming here?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm actually a a supervisor for them. I'm supposed to watch here and watch your teachers. And the teacher's jaw dropped. She's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, because you're like grading her?
No. I'm talking to her like, I actually like monitor your classes and your teachers, and I'm just coming up with all this. And the
Yeah, like
teacher's
bullshitting.
The teacher's just going, what?
Oh no!
Oh no! And so in the
I
middle,
left them eat glue today.
and my one friend in the back is like snickering, like, and all the kids are kind of giving me this. You can do that?
Oh my god, I want that job.
And so in the midst of this conversation, I'm just kind of like, so anyway, you guys are doing a really good job. And finally, one of the kids just said this out of reaction. They're like, are you serious? And I went, no, not at all. Erased my name. And the teacher did this. Oh! I actually went up to her, shook her hand, and was like, thank you. I'll be across the class.
for going with that.
Thank you. I'll be here till Thursday.
I walk into my class, and my teacher's like, what happened? I'm like, if you're curious, talk to the teacher.
She'll tell it better than I ever.
You know that teacher's got a story for
Oh,
life.
I was a bastard.
You're terrible.
Terrible person. So I have a question for everybody at the table. I already know my answer, but I want.
Well, that's good that you know yours.
Well, okay, if you could be a superhero in the real world,
Ooh.
and within like you're not rich, you have the money you have now. You can save up, obviously. You don't have to do it immediately.
Peter
You could be a
Parker Four.
superhero. What would your name be? What would you use as weapons? Anything from your fist to like something more complicated. And how would you dress?
When I played City of Heroes.
No,
No.
real world.
No. I'm just saying. This is
That's
the
such
first
a
thing that
great
comes to mind.
starter.
When I played City of Heroes, I had a character conceived whose name was Digger Graves.
Who lives on now? He still names his people Digger Graves in
love
video
it.
game.
It's still a name I go back to from time to time.
No.
I maxed out that character on City of Heroes. I went hard on that.
Quick
game.
question, because we've been catching up with our Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Did you?
God.
There's actually a card that they played frequently in the anime that's awful in the actual card game called just Gravedigger.
Yeah.
And I loved it as a kid whenever it came up because it had this obnoxiously big smile. And
And
every,
he flips the card
every
around,
time
he's
it-
like, oh, you stole that one.
every time it would show up, you'd hear this.
Yeah, that's right.
I
That's
loved
right.
it. Just because I'm like, oh look, it's this little bastard. Okay, keep
But
going.
no, anyway, his name was Digger Graves.
I love it.
And he was brute class in City of Heroes, which basically meant he was a tank.
Okay.
So he's this big fucking guy. He just wore like blue denim jeans and like a black biker vest, and he had a skull mask on. But
So
to
he
me, it
was-
was just to me it was like Ghost Rider. Like,
Okay,
there's no
yeah.
actual head there. It's just a skull.
So he was just a male dominatrix, is what
and,
you're telling me.
and his weapon was a shovel. So he just ran back. This skull-faced biker motherfucker. He's basically Ghost Rider, except his head's not on fire and he just beats people to death with a shovel.
That's even better.
So I don't know, if I were so
There's
inclined,
nothing heroic about
if
that.
I were so inclined, I might go that route. Just be like, give me super strength and a shovel, and I'll just go to town.
No superpowers, just as you are.
Oh, all right. Well, then I'd be totally fucked because I don't have any real skill at anything.
I mean,
I just love that idea of being like, oh no, man, it's Digger Pink! Johnny? Pink!
Well, and you get to the point where you pick travel powers in City of Heroes.
Yeah.
So you can choose if you've got super speed or acrobatics or flight.
Yeah.
So I gave him acrobatics, so he literally just springs around the city. Like it was a literally like jump tall buildings in a single bound kind of power. So it's just this giant fucking guy with a shovel just hopping around the city, landing on bad guys and crushing their heads with a shovel and then bounding away. I couldn't decide if that was more absurd than flying or not, so I just kind of went with that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Figured either way, this concept is just
Well,
this
this
is rich.
ludicrous.
You mentioned he was like a tank, so I'm picturing like the buffest guy ever doing like
He was
cartwheels,
fucking huge. Yeah, and
somersaults.
Jumps
He's
across the
basically
city.
like the Hulk in a biker vest with a skull for a head.
And a shovel.
I love it.
Yeah, and a shovel, just beating the shit out of people. Okay, so then who would you be?
Pink.
In real life, because you can't have any superpowers. You can, however,
Well,
like,
I'm gonna be a fucking failure.
but no. Bear in mind, you can't have superpowers, but you can train. Like you can learn like
Yeah.
karate or like how to use a weapon or whatever.
Miliwake.
Yeah, whatever.
That's not a superhero.
Well, then I'd probably go a similar approch to like a Daredevil kind of thing. Just like get some kind of like weapon, like
And stab
Kind
your
of like
leg
a
out.
Swiss Army knife kind of thing.
blind myself so my other senses are heightened.
Because that will always work well.
I wouldn't blind myself. I'd choose some other sense.
I'd blind them.
Maybe I'd cut off my nose.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, it's the superhero with no sense of smell.
I think you can still smell if you don't have a nose.
He can see me really
I do
well.
whatever I have to do to get rid of that.
You just
And then
plug
it's
it.
like-
Just plug your nose.
Then it's like I'm immune to like tear gas and shit, right? That's how that works.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't.
sure.
I'm pretty sure tear gas will still get in your tear ducts.
Well, all right. Well,
That's how that
Kingpin like farts. I don't know this. It's whatever.
Mustard gas.
I just get like a nice like
Out of
blunt
his
instrument,
butthole.
like a nightclub,
Yeah.
or like I don't know, a shovel.
Yeah.
Teach myself some half decent acrobatic and like martial arts shit, and then run around in spandex and beat the shit out of people.
Would you actually go the spandex route?
No, it probably.
Because I still love the idea about this giant character that you described, but it's you in that.
Skin tight.
If I don't actually have superpowers, then like body armor is probably the safer bet.
Probably.
Better,
And you
Batman
can
that thing.
and you can save up to get this fucking
Yeah, I mean, if I had spider sense and I could fucking dodge anything shot at me, then sure I'd go with fucking
Right.
Yeah. Just fucking spandex.
tights because then I've got
why not?
mobility.
Okay.
But
So you would use basically a shovel, just some fucking blunt
I
object.
love that idea,
Yeah.
though.
it'd probably be like a baseball bat.
Okay.
I've always liked the
Baseball.
weight of a baseball bat.
Okay, and you would wear what? Just like body armor and
Yeah,
like
just
jeans or
just
something.
like body armor and like a ski mask.
No man survives.
I would be mistaken for the common criminal quite
Would
frequently.
you
Yeah,
go
no,
by
I just do.
Digger Graves? Would that be your name?
I mean, I might as well.
It's Digger
Okay.
Pink.
All right.
I still love
Oh no, it's Digger.
No one ever gets to say his full name.
It's like Campbell Jack.
You know who is a friend of Digger Graves when they can say his full name.
Who?
Digger Graves.
Oh.
You can say it like confidently in company.
Yeah, and
Like
they
in the-
don't
Like in the
die.
last Harry Potter book, the people who can get away with saying Voldemort. You know?
Yeah.
They're friends of Voldemort.
Well, I love the idea about friends talking about it, and then finally you're just like, I don't know who that Digger Graves is. How did you say that? Completely. Oh no! And then you run away.
Andrew's Digger Graves. And Brandon has an idea, I think.
Do I?
You were just tapping the table.
I
and
think
shit.
that was
Like
I'm
you were excited
about
about
the running away part.
Oh, okay. But
you
who
are up
would
now.
you be? Yeah, it's your turn. We have Digger Graves over here with a fucking shovel and a ski mask.
Repeat the question, please.
If you could be a superhero in real life without superpowers, but you can save up money, you can learn, you can train to do stuff.
Okay.
But within reason.
Yeah.
I want to point out one little other City of Heroes I had, really tiny one. There's an item on the menu at Buffalo Wild Wings called the Buffalito. It's like a burrito with fucking chicken and
Did you
buffalo
find a
sauce.
person named
I
Buffalo?
made a superhero called the Buffalito, and he shot fire out of his
Yes. Yes.
That was my other crowning achievement in City of Heroes.
That was his sole power. He just shoots fire.
Well, the best part is,
Episode's over. We're done.
No, exactly. He wasn't exceptionally good at it. He just shot fire.
like other MMOs, once a name is taken, no one else can have it. So
Yeah.
when you get into it late in the game, you struggle to come up with a creative thing to find.
Yeah,
a superhero,
exactly.
because literally everything's taken.
Right.
So one, I thought Digger Graves was a huge coup. I couldn't believe
Yeah.
no one had come up
You're
with
like,
that.
oh my god.
And then typing the Buffalito and seeing that was available, I was like, oh god, yes! I will be a legend among these people.
They will know me by my true name, Buffalito.
So
I'm just picturing seeing you playing, just it's dead silent, you just hear the clicking of keys. Your guy shoots out fire and just you go, Buffalito strikes again.
it was pretty thrilling. I missed that game. It was good times.
Yeah. Okay, Brandon.
Anyway,
Brandon.
I didn't mean to cut you
You've
off.
had a moment to
I
think
thought I
now.
needed to tell that story too.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a superhero. I have to have no powers. I have to show up to.
So you're more like a
fight.
hero.
Yeah.
A hero.
But I mean, in normal people terms, you would be considered a
So
superhero.
I'm going to
You'd
cheat.
be pretty alright, dude.
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to be Captain Blasto.
Captain Blasto?
Captain
I like
Blasto.
it. I like
Go
it.
walk around with a gun.
I'm going to be the one guy who shows up with a gun to.
Really?
Yeah.
What's up, motherfuckers?
The one guy in a fist fight who shows up with a gun. See, all those fuckers.
But see, they would also have guns though, because
No, they would.
if you're actually fighting real,
they would.
most, well, I shouldn't say most. I would think that most hardened quote unquote criminals
Okay.
would have a gun.
Okay, I'd have
So
body
you
armor.
having a gun wouldn't be enough. That wouldn't scare them. They'd be like, please,
It's
plan,
a gun.
plan.
Okay, I'll
Shoot
body
shit
armor.
out of you.
I'll have body armor.
You have body armor? Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, man, how does the Punisher do
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
Like the body armor on like the face. and
Shoots
everything.
them
Like,
before
I'm
they
like
shoot him.
hardcore.
Yeah, I guess
pretty good
that's-
strategy.
I guess that's the key.
He
isn't
has
it?
no moral compass. That's how he does that.
It's true. He doesn't have to hesitate before he pulls the trigger. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm the Punisher. My family's dead,
He knows what is the law and what isn't the law.
Like I'll be like the.
and he doesn't care either way.
I'll be the tank. I'll show up like There'll be like a fight going on. I'll show up in my car, like run them over with my car, like.
It's just like, what's up, bitches?
They are a automobilist.
Car, there's
Just
a
a fucking
building.
guy who drives around town running
In the
into
fucking
criminals.
car, just
Wreck that shit. Leave it there. Run
exactly.
them over.
No one knows.
Half of them are gone. Exactly.
And you do it by just buying like shitty cars and not registering them. Just running bitches
He
over.
just outfits the tires with spikes and shit.
Yeah.
And just blasts
Make it look
people.
rad as tits.
Reinforce the bumper so it can take
So-
a hit or two. you know?
Alright, so you would have this rad fucking car on top of like your fucking 9 or your Glock or whatever. you have,
several
and
nines.
wearing like Kevlar and shit. What would you would be Captain Blasto?
Captain Blasto, because I
Alright.
shoot guns.
All right, I get that. I
It's
feel
not a
that.
terribly intimidating name, but I think people would be pissing their pants after the first couple encounters.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh shit,
God
it's Captain
damn it.
Blasto, run or get to high ground."
They want to bring their gun? Good. Okay, here he comes.
Awesome.
I'm just picturing in my head like an alleyway, like a mom and a daughter like crying as like guys with guns are like, car comes out, you hit them, they're like, and
It
you
like
get
hops
out,
the hill.
you get out of the car and go, ha ha! You just ran over 3 people. Yes, I did.
Captain Blasto!
Exactly.
Fires his gun in the air a couple times and drives off.
Have a wonderful day. Just fucking leaves.
Just to solidify, I shoot them in the
love
face
it.
a couple times. Like,
You
when
shoot
they're
the bad people or the innocent
The
civilians?
bad people. Just
Oh,
make
okay.
sure
So you
they're
shoot
dead.
them in the face a couple of times?
Just a
Yes.
couple.
Leave no survivors.
Yes.
Triple tap.
Captain Blasto has no supervillains. They are all dead.
Yeah, he's like Wonder Woman at that point. When he deals
Exactly.
with his villains, he deals with his
They're
villains.
fucking
Deals with that.
dead. They're dead. They're gone. No
That's some
supervillains.
pussy ass Spider-Man bullshit.
Exactly.
No.
Not gonna lock you up in Arkham Asylum and be like, that'll hold
No,
them.
no, you're dead. You're dead. Sorry. You're dead.
Someone's gonna get mad at you for cross-referencing Batman and Spider-Man. So, okay, so we've got Digger Graves, Captain Blasto. What about you, Mitch? What do you got?
It's gonna be a game.
I have a feeling he's gonna steal my weapon that I've already chosen.
I don't know. I've been getting a lot of trace elements of this, and I've been putting it in the comic that I've been writing.
Yeah.
Only I'm dumbing it down a bit more in the comic.
Yeah.
The name I had the idea for, and then they used it in the Ultimates universe, and I was kind of like, oh, damn, I'm still gonna use it.
Yeah.
It's the Shroud. I
Yeah.
always just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm the one guy here who's probably gonna say no body armor.
No, that's fair.
fine.
I mean,
That's
you can train to the
As
point
long
where
as you
you
can make up for it. in
Yeah,
other
it's the
areas.
mobility and shit.
Spandex? Muscle?
No spandex.
No spandex.
It doesn't flatter his body.
I'm curvy. I'm not that curvy.
Not that curvy.
All of my costumes are every time I've like designed a costume idea for a superhero, it's always been like very. You could get this at maybe a thrift store.
Yeah. It's like jeans and a hoodie, basically.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
like jeans, a hoodie.
Flannel, plaid jacket, fedora.
Fedora man.
I have always wanted to get one of these. You know those like black silhouette costumes?
Yeah,
like,
like they use on stage and shit.
Yeah, I always wanted one like it's the hoodie and jeans, but with like that kind of mask.
Yeah.
So like no features. It just that's
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
For weapons, I also figured like a couple of guns.
Fuck yeah.
Nothing big, you know.
No.
I don't want to be the guy to show up and be like, oh, thank God, the Shroud is here with his signature RPG.
That's the only weapon. He has no sidearm. He just
That's
uses
it.
a fucking RPG.
Captain Blasto with a
He drops down
submachine
from the
gun.
roof with it just slung over his shoulders. Like, let's do this.
No.
do this.
No.
It's like one little like pickpocket standing in front of it.
His fucking like his go-to tagline is "Boom boom, motherfucker." so
I
you
figured
got
it'd be that. The thing that I've always wanted for this character is like, you know, in Batman and in Ninjas, they always drop like the itty bitty thing, and there's crazy amounts of smoke.
yeah, like the smoke bomb.
I
Yeah.
always wanted like a bunch of those because nothing's cooler than to be like a whole bunch of guys be like, yeah, we're
you
gonna.
can. I feel like you
What
can
the
make those.
blam blam blam.
I'm sure you could.
You can.
I feel like I've
probably.
seen a YouTube
Yeah.
video where somebody made.
Oh, I can almost guarantee you've seen
Anarchist
it.
cookbook, sure.
Yeah,
why not?
fucking
Something-
whatever, yeah.
Something there.
But
Yeah.
Everybody
that's
can
it
make
then.
it.
Yeah.
just right there. Just
That's kind of it right
just like
there.
a guy with guns, just like.
Oh, actually, a couple years ago, I was talking to a buddy of mine's brother, and he found this really cool school out, I believe, in Beijing.
Yeah.
Like, I still have the name just because it's if I ever get that kind of money to go there, I'd like to go
You're
for
gonna
like
fucking do it, yeah.
a semester. And from what he described and what he filmed like his like half year that he spent there, it looks like this is legitimately training you to be Dick Grayson.
So
Like all acrobatic.
It's
using a
like
fucking
it's
bow staff
crazy.
and shit?
It's
Fuck
crazy
yeah.
acrobats. It's like parkour. Literally, like he said one of the first things you do is you get a partner. You do all of your exercises together, and that entitles being able to lift them as your weight.
Oh shit!
Like
So you can bench press your lever.
yeah.
Is there a twin set of superheroes called Gemini yet? I feel
Probably.
like that should
There should
probably
be.
be a thing.
There
Give
should
me,
be.
you guys keep talking. Give me like a
Google.
But he's like
Google
showing
away.
us like films of like he's like, oh, that's my buddy Jason, and that's my buddy this, and they're all like, he's like, what's Jason do? Well, he basically did parkour, and we see him like run, just flipping all over the place. And then,
Parkour guy.
and then this is my buddy Bill, and you see like him, you know, the rope climb they make you do in gym.
Oh,
I
God.
fucking hate that.
He's instead of doing that, he's holding it upside down, legs pointed straight up, and he's
What?
moving just with his arms. And I'm
What?
going, how is this a person? So
That's
superhero-esque like
That is.
things, and I figured if I gotta have a superhero, he's gonna be going through that for like 3 to 5 years. And be like, all right, now I can take on the world.
He just shows up with a rope to these like these attacks and like jewel stores and like with a rope. It's like, oh my god, what's he do with the rope? Oh my god, he's climbing up the rope backwards.
He's
What the
climbing
fuck?
up backwards. Is it
Calls the
helping?
police- calls the
No.
police beforehand, like, oh my god, they just watch him for like 20 minutes. Like, what the fuck?
Wow.
How's he doing that?
How's he doing that?
Can I have your autograph? What the fuck?
Well, you're up now.
There is a
Oh.
superhero named Gemini, although I don't think it's like a.
But it's not a
Is
twin.
it a person? Is it a person that can become two people?
I don't know, but it's an image superhero, which means it's probably fucking rad.
That doesn't-
There is, and I'm mad that I know this, there's a girl in the Legion of Superheroes nonsense whose trick is splitting into 3 different versions of her, and apparently one day one of them got killed. So now she's like dynamic girl or duo girl, and like that's
Some fucking
bad.
horse shit.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That's pretty bad. And every time the girls are like, we have all these maneuvers, but for only 3 of us. And they became
She's
super,
like the world's saddest superhero.
they became like super broody, and we're like, oh
Oh
no.
man, they start dressing like in all black and shit. Listen to fucking Hawthorne Heights.
Well, like this was back when, like, again, WB was trying to get their cartoons back, and
Yeah.
so this was like Superman and the Legion of Superheroes or whatever.
Yeah.
It lasted like 2 seasons,
If that.
and the girls were like, "Yeah, we can split to 3 girls," and then it's like season 2, which is apparently like so many of a year gap, and like now there's only 2 of us.
Oh.
The one that wears purple and the one that wears orange.
The one that wears red is gone.
Yeah, it was like the one who wears green is gone.
The gaudy one.
Oh no!
They kill the best color.
Yeah,
But they don't. You never see the on-stage death because it was like playing to like 8-year-olds.
Yeah, so death
Yeah.
is not.
They just keep on talking about like since the incident.
the incident that they never fucking address.
Kinda, yeah.
Since that thing.
Oh.
That we don't like to talk about, except we address it every fucking episode.
Pretty much.
So I don't actually have a name because I've never been able to come up with a name that's any good.
Well, that's why we're here.
Exactly, and I expect you 3 to come up with something legitimate and not terrible.
Green Lantern Man.
No,
Okay.
no, I will
Okay.
not. I will not.
Whisker Biscuit.
No. Okay, so there's these things you
Hootie
can buy
Man.
that are essentially brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Except there's a, like the way, like you know how you hold brass knuckles.
Oh,
and
dude,
then
you
there's
totally told me
yeah.
about
I've
this.
been seeing you the fucking link to them. They're fucking awesome. They're made of plastic with rubber along the knuckles, or maybe it's not rubber. It might just be metal.
Okay.
But in this part that you curl your fingers around, so the part that sits in your palm is a battery, and they're basically like knuckles that shock. when you
Oh, I've
punch.
seen them. Yeah.
Sweet.
And they
Straight shocker
send,
on these motherfuckers.
and they
Sweet.
send like 50,000 volts into whoever you touch.
Nice.
And they're not that expensive. They're like $150 for a pair. of them.
Thunder Punch.
Find them.
Boom.
Find them. Thunder
Superhero
Punch.
name, Thunder Punch.
Thunder Punch.
Might as well just call yourself Electabuzz, bro.
Yeah.
No. Oh, fine, come up with something better. Anyway, I would get that shit. And I would literally just go out in my normal fucking clothes.
Hey, there's Jake. Oh
Actually,
my god,
I-
he's hitting me.
No, that's a lie.
it's
I would
Jake.
wear,
Thunder
I guess I would get like,
Thunder Punch.
I would get, I guess, like body armor beneath, but I would wear clothes over it.
He's Lieutenant Surge from Pokemon.
Yes.
I'm gonna Thunder Punch you,
Thunder Punch.
baby.
So I would get like body armor, and I would get very loose. Like body armor is fucking bulky.
It is.
I would get very loose fitting clothes, so it wouldn't be entirely obvious in the dark that I was wearing body armor.
Right.
But people would shoot me, and I would think that I would take, you know,
You shot
I
my
would-
snowman coat.
I would take the risk and try to, you know, put like a year and a half away so that I can. I'm sure it would barely help at all, but get used to the feeling getting shot with like Kevlar and fucking that shit on.
Well, like
I know it still fucking hurts.
Like in Kick-Ass?
Hit your
You just wake up every day, come down to the living room, and be like, Andrew, get down here, and I come down
and just fucking pop a cap.
shoot you.
Yeah. And like I at least to maybe get moderately accustomed to it in case it happens.
It's like the more intense version of Kato from like Pink Panther.
No,
Kato, don't shoot me.
I like to think it's just an alarm clock, because you just tell me to like wake up at 10 o'clock and come in and shoot you.
And it's the best roommate situation. Anytime I
So
make
you
you
wake
mad.
up every morning getting shot in the chest.
It's the best. But I would do that, and you know, I might put some shit on my legs, you know, cover that shit up. Maybe some shit on my arms. Though honestly, I would work it out to like I'd also be taking like you know martial arts training shit.
Yeah.
And I would just walk the mean streets of Springfield
Hell yes.
and just punch
Spoiler.
the shit out of anyone who broke the law.
Jaywalker!
Boom! You've been thunderstruck! Drunk in public! Boom! Let's be real, it would mostly be drunk in public.
Thunders?
Yeah.
Truck thunders? No, that's like a gay...
No. So if you ever get
Jaywalker.
sued, you'd be like, all right,
Truck...
case against
The
Rogers Bill versus Thunderstruck?
right here!
How about Strike Fist?
No.
Punch
Boom.
face.
Punch face.
I punch you in the face.
Boom fist.
Boom fist.
I like
Nailed
boom
it.
fist,
Boom
actually.
fist.
Boom fist.
I would go by boom fist.
This is my boom fist.
Yeah.
That's their catchphrase.
There you
But
go.
no,
Nailed it.
seriously,
go.
I
Your
saw...
story is written.
I
Now
just-
we need a comic of these four fucking people.
Yeah, someone do that. Because I'm lazy.
For Ian.
And I'm already like...
Nice career.
Oh, I'm like halfway through the first book, by the way.
Oh,
I've actually I've actually been doing what I said I would do.
Nice.
Oh.
I've like have half the book written.
I haven't done anything.
You progressed
Yeah,
your work.
I still
I did.
have
Well,
So
no,
did you, though?
I
have.
did film my pizza commercial, but it's probably shitty and I don't want to talk
Woo! I just want to drink my woes away.
We will link it. We will link this. We will link this.
We will
But
link
yeah,
it. It will be glorious.
We will. But Brandon, you're like super fucking. You made like a big leap that you were telling me about
I'm
earlier.
pretty excited.
Yeah, you've
We
made
are at
headway.
115 for the record.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I just want to make sure we all know where we are.
Today before work, I was like, I have to finish this because the podcast is tonight.
He was late to work today.
I was late
and
to work.
Brandon's never
Wow.
late to
like
work.
5 minutes late.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes.
Whoa.
I had to finish.
I'm like 10 minutes late to work every fucking day.
Like I said, I can think of the Jenner's dungeon, and Jenner is a monster to run and work. Jenner has worked flawlessly about Saturday night. I was like, I had to finish this.
Yeah.
The monsters have to move. They have to attack people.
Yeah.
I got that done. The monsters attack and like attack the people, and they swarm, and move correctly.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Nice.
What was the thing you were telling me about where you like spawned like a monster in every single tile on the
I
picture?
spawned like 500 monsters, and they all worked flawlessly at 60 frames per second. It
Nice.
was great. They all attacked you in like this giant swarm, and you were dead in like 5 seconds. 'Cause
Yeah. And the best part, it wasn't even like you were dead in 5 seconds because you had health. It's you were dead in 5 seconds because only so many attacks can hit you at one
Yeah,
time.
8
It's like
monsters
the cops in
attacking you.
GTA 5.
Exactly.
You only hit like 3 monsters at once, and 8 monsters hitting you, so you're fucked.
Yeah.
I slowed it down to like only a couple monsters attacked you. Mm-hmm. And it was great because it was like this nice perfect storm of like zombies, almost like zombie movement
Nice.
attacked you. It was great. They worked really well. I like slow walks.
Yep.
They had speed 2 of like out of like 100 or something.
Mhm.
That was fun.
So you got all this shit done.
I got a lot of shit done.
So
this
much
morning.
progress. Like,
It was
and it
great.
doesn't sound like a lot, but like when
No,
you're
that's
coding,
pretty
that's
cool.
how many lines of code do you think you did?
This morning.
Well, like lines of code and then like going back and fixing
Wasn't
shit
that
was
much. It was like
broken.
120 maybe.
120 is still 120 more than I could do.
Yeah. It wasn't that long. But I'm pretty happy about how the monsters attack and how they work.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time you would think like, okay, a monster has to attack a person, so like adjust the X and Y variables to match the person's X and Y variables.
Like aim, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought decided to do it differently because I thought, well, that's too simple. That's too like, oh yeah, I can tell what that monster's doing. I'm going to evade that. Instead, I had them like go in the general direction of you, like they do a calculation to figure out which direction you're facing, like which direction they have to face attack you. Like, okay, they need to go right to hit you. That's the best direction to go. So they face right, and they move in the direction they're facing. So they go in like the general direction they need to go to
So they
hit you.
strafe.
they strafe a bit.
That's
which is
rad.
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That is.
Yeah, so like if they're like far away on the map, they don't care where the hell you are. They're like, okay, I need to go right. They're gonna go down and right. They're gonna go right.
If they have range, they'll fucking they'll shoot
And
you
as they
from
get closer,
afar.
they care more about where you are, and they'll be more correct. They're more direct.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So I get this nice little swarm going on. It's beautiful.
And it looks like they're coming right fucking for you.
Yeah, they're like nice swarm. It looks like a swarm. It's amazing. I'm pretty happy about it.
Cool.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want that.
He's kicking our asses at this thing.
I'm kicking ass.
The rest of us are just dicking around and be like, well, I got this done, I guess.
Well, whatever. I'm gonna write a fucking novel about our 4 superheroes.
Yeah, fuck it.
There you go.
Why
Would you write a novel and not a comic book?
Because I don't know anyone who can draw.
Yeah,
That's
my
fair.
thing,
That's
too.
my problem. I took to Craigslist. I made a horrible mistake, and I took to Craigslist. I was like, listen, this is the situation. I have like 30 fucking scripts for comic book, like first issues. I shit you not, it's like 30.
No, I believe it,
I
yeah.
counted. It's like fucking 30 because
Nice.
I've been writing them since I was like 14. A lot of them are terrible.
That's all right.
But you know,
we should try and co-write this fucking comic and find like an artist on the
Let's do it.
internet
Oh,
who will
anyway,
always draw like
I-
an issue 1 for us.
Yeah.
But I took
Figures.
to Craigslist and I laid it out for people and I was like, this is the situation. This is what I want, you know, let's just fucking meet up in a like somewhere public so, you know, it's neutral territory. We can talk about it, we can see like if we're feeling it, whatever. And this one fucking person responded to me and was like, hey, I just graduated college, you know, I got here's some samples of my work,
Nice.
you know, we can meet up at I think it was like Mudhouse that he wanted
That's
to meet
good.
up at. Which
It's
is
actually
it's like
a rapist hillbilly.
you know, Mudhouse is it's like a coffee house here in Springfield.
There are people there.
So we met up there like one afternoon that I had off, and he was a nice enough person. He was a nice enough guy, and his work was really really good. And then the problem that immediately arose was, I shit you not, the first thing he did, and I understand like making something with people is a collaborative work.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm entirely open to that. Like, I understand that the shit that I write isn't perfect. It's nowhere near perfect.
Right.
And I need
Right.
other people to look at it and tell me
Right.
what the fuck is wrong with
Yeah.
it so I can fix it.
Yeah.
He sits down, and the first thing out of his mouth is, one of the characters' name is Eric. And Eric has a superpower where he can pee around corners. It's
He can curb the piss.
it's the Hell Virginia comic book that I sat down with Chris. I
was
think it
great. You told me
Chris,
about that.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
Chris,
great.
Caitlin, and someone else. But the entire I have 6 issues written, and the entire thing is about a group of people who live in a fictional town, or maybe it's fictional. I don't know if it actually exists. It's called Hell Virginia, and the main character is a girl. Her name is Virginia, because I'm so fucking clever.
I like it.
I'm so amused by my own bullshit.
Oh, Jay.
And one of the characters' name is Eric. They all have really mundane superpowers. One of the girls makes a living literally by making bar bets on whether or not she can smoke one cigarette in a single drag. And she can, and that's her superpower.
I feel like they're all like Meg in that episode of Family Guy.
They are.
Where they all
Yeah.
have powers
Yeah.
and she can just grow her fingers.
That's exactly. She's like, ow, that kind of hurt. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That was slightly annoying.
Yeah, one person can pee around corners. My favorite character is the dog, who is sentient but can't verbalize it because it's a dog and it can see the future perfectly. And so it's constantly just like, you motherfuckers need to listen to me, and no one understands
That's
him.
actually fucking hilarious.
I know, right? And anyway,
That could
so
be a show by itself.
he sits down, and the first thing out of his mouth is like, so I read through your scripts, they're really great, but what if Eric had lightning powers? And I was like, flipping a fucking table, like, dude, that's not how you start this, alright? Because the entire thing reads...
What if you can piss around a corner, man?
But he can piss around the corner. But
That's
you don't, when you
superpower.
collaborate with someone, you don't open with something that drastically changes the character, especially when the entire story... it eventually ends up revolving around the fact that all their superpowers are super mundane.
Nice.
funny if,
'cause
like, the one main
government
character-
starts coming after them, like, because it's not something where like they're fucking shooting fireballs from their hands.
Right.
It's something like these urban legends, and like there's this one fucking guy where it's prominent enough, and like there's videos of them doing it and shit. So there's one fucking agent comes in and like to investigate it because this might be something that, you know, would be good
Sure.
for the
might
government,
be
like the
worth
military to
looking
have.
into.
Yeah.
Piss around corners.
Pissing
Sure.
around corners, fucking like one of
The
the
Nazis will never see it coming.
one
Yeah.
of the people can like punch through concrete, but it's not because he's super strong. It's just that for whatever reason, his hand is stronger than just concrete.
It's the perfect solution.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He just like punches through concrete like nothing.
Why not?
He's Demolition Man.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect.
But it doesn't work on like steel or anything else.
Nice.
Just concrete.
concrete.
Yeah.
Now hold on real quick. Going along this, when Heroes was like really big,
Yeah.
like the show Heroes,
Season 1, yeah.
there was
Because season 2, 3, and 4 didn't happen.
on YouTube
Right?
there was this
Such a
parody
shame it got
show.
canceled so early.
There was a parody show. I only saw like a trailer for it, and it was called Zeros.
Was it the one with the person who could kick themselves in the back of the head?
Maybe.
Because that was one of them. It's fucking hilarious.
All I'm remembering was there was like this woman in her 30s wearing this. She looked like she was a hooker,
Yeah.
and she had this skimpy cheerleader costume on, and she just goes, "This is," or she looks at the camera and she takes her fist and she puts it entirely in her mouth, and she pulls it out and she goes, "My name is Claire, and that was attempt number 6."
That's fucking fantastic.
And that was it. That was the bit, and it was so funny.
That is such a great fucking joke.
God damn it.
I know they had like 5-minute episodes, but that was all I wanted. I was like, perfect.
I'm done.
That
Season over.
So anyway, sorry,
So
keep going.
But yeah, the point of what I'm saying is, it never seems to work whenever you look outside of the people you know, because it always comes down to one of you is going to be unwilling to budge.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when it comes to making a comic book, when you don't know anybody who either doesn't have the free time or just you know isn't they're not willing to work with you in a what if he had lightning? What if he had lightning? Fucking, I don't understand.
Well, can we
man.
compromise?
Okay,
Can he
okay.
pee lightning?
I would have been fine with that. Because that shit's hilarious.
This is like
Yeah, like
It almost
it would've been-
works.
there's huh?
I think it'd be funny if like the one guy had like the leader or the gang had like the one good superpower. He could shoot lightning. Everyone's like to sit around corner like take bets and crap
Well,
like that.
the
That'd be
there's-
kind of funny. Like the
it
one
would've
good
been-
superhero.
Yeah,
as
you
leader.
say P lightning, and I literally
You can
didn't think
fly
about that
and
until
leader.
like just now because
Sure,
I'm
no,
a
that's
fucking
fine.
idiot. But there's a part where the guy who pees around corners gets in trouble because he's super drunk and he's like, guys, like he's with everybody. There's
Yeah.
like 7 of them. And he's like, guys, we stand around, we have to pee. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Because they're just a bunch of fucking hoodlums who are like, they're mid-20s.
Right.
Whatever. And he's like standing next to this building and he's peeing and he decides to like like just pee around the corner for his own fucking amusement.
Yeah.
And he starts peeing around the corner and he pees on a fucking cop. And the cop's like, this shit is happening over here. And it spawns an entirely new thing. But
I
if,
better
if he had been
investigate.
peeing lightning, that would have been even better.
That would be
Oh my god!
Officer down! Officer down!
it's lightning cock.
World's worst named
Okay.
superhero.
Thunder-
Okay,
Thundercock.
speaking
Thundercock.
of worst named superheroes.
Oh wait, I think I like Thundercock better.
Thundercock is better. Thunderdick is what I write on our
Thunderdick.
cuffs at work all the
Yeah.
time. We all have nicknames. Mine's Thunderdick.
yeah.
I've been reading Uncanny X-Men, and their whole thing is it's like Cyclops going around and like gathering new mutants.
Cyclops was right.
Useful
That's
superhero.
kind of like that.
Stupidest fucking.
So right off the bat, we meet like 3 kids they found. One is named Tempest, which is like whatever.
a
He
storm
heals.
thing. Or he
No,
heals?
he heals. It's cool.
Oh, okay.
One girl I
Okay.
get, she's still picking a name, and she can like do kind of like time bubble stuff. And this one kid has like one of the stupidest powers where he can like just spawn gold-looking balls.
But they're not actually gold.
No, they're just they bounce and
They
shit.
look like gold though.
So the best part is like they have like every issue it says like their name and their superhero name, and they're like, this is Fabio, this guy. He does not have a name yet.
Yeah.
And they're like they go over to this guy and this is Scott. This he can make gold balls come out of his body. It's like reader's note. Gold balls is a lame name. And they go with this for a couple issues. Like he shows up and he's like, beware the wrath of gold balls. Shut up!
Shut up.
That's stupid. And it's really funny because he's like
control
he's like
this. Yeah.
an 18-year-old kind of pudgy kid. Like
Yeah,
he's just
very
like,
lame.
Human spider.
Yeah.
Did they at least
Human
like
spider that
shoot?
sucks.
Did they at least like shoot out of him
Yeah.
at like a rapid pace?
Yeah.
So he can like pelt people. With
Yeah,
it?
he's
Okay.
finally learned how to do that and not just be like, haha, and they all go everywhere.
I picture
so
him
people
just-
do the whoop 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 and slip.
I
Yeah.
picture him just firing like ball pit balls.
Like very like plastic barely hurts when it hits you like ball pit balls.
Ow, that barely
He's
hurts.
just like firing out like 10 of them in like a second. So it's just like,
They shouldn't fall.
stop that! Stop that!
This is very uncomfortable for me.
Very
I'll
inconvenient.
do whatever you say.
So
Anyway, though,
Continue your
that's-
fucking.
that's the funniest part that I've seen in the comic. I think one point, literally, like they're fighting some giant like hell demon, and initially all of them are like, "Dude, we're like high school. We just found out we were mutants like a week ago.
We're fighting a hell demon.
Screw this!" And then one of them's like, I think they've got like, what's her name? Diamond Girl in X-Men. Emma Frost, and she's like, all the heroes are like, Emma, they need a little bit of a boost, and they're like, fuck this, we can't do anything, and then you see her like put her hand to her head, and they're all like, X-Men, let's do this! And it's great. So they're all suddenly like starting to fight, and they're actually doing decent. Like
Such a fucking like Emma Frost thing.
they're still like failing. I mean, all the like Cyclops and whatever, they're doing
But
awesome.
they're excited.
But they've done this, but they're all like, we can do this. So at one moment the guy's like, behold, gold balls! And like two of the characters like smirk at him and he goes, I know, it's stupid. And the demon's like, ah!
Gold ball, shut up!
Gold ball. There's a bit in Ultimate Spider-Man I just read where the fucking guy with the accent that can blow up cars shows up at the school. And
Fuck, what's his name?
I don't
Guy
know.
with the
I
accent
literally
that
just
can blow up
read the
cars.
issue the other day, but he's like a foreigner and he doesn't want to believe that he's a mutant because mutant's like a bad word.
Oh.
But then the three X-Men ladies show up and they're like, we came here to take this guy because he's clearly a mutant.
Okay.
And they like incapacitate him, but then he freaks out on the plane and like wakes up and blows up the plane and they barely get out of there alive.
Firefly? No, it's not
No,
Firefly.
It's not Firefly.
I could look it up.
Whatever.
I'm curious, but yeah.
But and anyway, then they get to they end up getting back to the X-Men playground. What the fuck is the X-Men?
Oh,
Utopia?
The fucking school.
Xavier's School for
That
Gifted
place.
youngsters.
Wow, that was a brain fart. Anyway,
You'd think,
they
right?
go back there, and Spidey wakes up from the explosion, and the fucking foreigner guy who blows up shit is like all happy and tied down to a thing. And Spidey's like, "What's wrong with him?" He was like freaking the fuck out earlier, and Xavier's like, "Oh, I just put a happy thought in his head." That's such a great ability. No, think happy thought.
Makes people happy. I mean, it's fantastic.
There's another one with the weird all-new X-Men, like X-Men from the past or whatever. It's weird, but it's like Young Angel, and he's freaking out. He's like, I don't know what's going on. You all want to stay. I want to go home. I found my future self. He's weird. I think he's died at least twice. And he's literally like freaking out. He's like, I want to go home, like crying and screaming, and he's freaking out. And then suddenly there's just a panel of him just like looking, and he kind of just goes, man, I'm really hungry, guys. I'm going to go up to the kitchen and grab something. All right, I'll see you guys in a sec. And everyone's like, what happened? And Jean Grey goes, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Gene, what did you do? Don't worry about
Don't worry about it.
it. I just made him calm down.
He's fine.
And then he comes back downstairs. He's like, so what are we doing later? Man, I got wings, guys.
Chill with everything. Just
Car exploding guy's name is Geldof.
Wow.
Or maybe it's pronounced differently because he's like a Latvian or something.
Geldof.
Okay.
I don't fucking know, but
Why is it?
Behold, it is Rasputin.
I don't even know if he's a.
Rasputin.
No, his first appearance was in Ultimate Spider-Man, so he's not even.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit! So he's original. All right.
Yeah, he was
He's legit.
And granted, that's original as of 10 years ago.
Right.
That's when issue 40 came out of Ultimate Spider-Man, July 2003.
Doesn't feel that long ago, but I guess it
that's
is,
a
yeah.
long ass time.
I love looking up characters in comic books and like looking at when they like Bane. Bane is so ingrained in Batman mythology now.
Yes.
You would have thought he came out like near the beginning.
No, he didn't.
No, he was like right around Death of Superman. That's when he came out. That was his first introduction.
That's what's crazy with a lot of guys. Like Venom was a 90s character for
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Harley Quinn is a fairly
It's a
new
90s.
Batman.
Jumped
villain.
in because of the animated
Because
series.
of the animated series, yeah, it's really nuts how new some of those. Like a lot of people consider Venom maybe Spider-Man's first arch nemesis.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I do.
And he's like within the past 20 years.
Yeah, he's about as new as it gets in Spidey canon. Like there haven't been many super notable villains that have been born in that mythology since him. At least not that I can think of off the top of my head.
May have had
The only
a
other
few.
ones who are like
Too
nemesis
many.
level is like Doc Ock and Green Goblin.
Well, yeah, like that's basically
they've been
it.
around
Spidey's
forever.
got like his big three.
Yeah.
it's not as clear cut as like Batman and Superman. It's
Yeah.
basically like for which of Spidey's weaknesses do
cut
you want
that.
to play towards?
What?
You know.
You're gonna cut that with some more cider.
But no, I was just thinking like have
No,
any
it's
more
fine.
super
It's fine.
notable
Okay.
Spidey villains been bred in the last like 20 years. I mean,
I can
Carnage
still
obviously came out along with Venom. but-
Carnage, yeah, I can't think of any others that were
Carnage
really
literally
big.
goes hand in
Yeah,
hand.
it's not really ringing.
Did you ever read the? I should know that my two favorite artists of all time ever in comic books are David Finch and
Great.
Fincher.
Fincher's
Finch. David Finch. Okay, I get
Yeah.
them confused all the fucking time.
Fincher's the Fight Club social network guy.
Yeah, so David Finch and I know
Jim
my
Lee?
favorite artist. I don't know the sorry name. Not Jim Lee. Jim Lee is top 5, easy because I love what he did for the most part with the New 52 designs. But it's David Finch and Stephen Crane, because Stephen Crane's the guy who did the Carnage miniseries. Everything he does
It looks legit.
looks like photorealistic.
Now, have you seen Alex Ross? Because
Yes.
kind of the
Well,
same.
that's exactly. But
Yeah.
like Alex Ross looks like his stuff's photorealistic, but it's more like painted.
No, yeah, it looks
Like
cool.
it has textures and shit, which is rad. And
No,
he's
I know.
also my top 5.
I know
we
what
may
you're
have just
talking about
addressed
with
all my top 5 artists right there, or at least top 4.
That's a good
But
one, yeah.
Stephen Crane, I love because it's so good.
It's
Like
pretty good.
Alex Ross is like the only problem I have with Alex Ross is that his stuff looks painted.
It does.
It looks like there's depth to it, but it's like painted.
No, it does. I'll give it
Whereas like Stephen Crane goes at it a different way, where it is a little bit more like CGI-esque, but
It works for
it works so well, and that Carnage miniseries is so good.
Well, he's done 2.
Oh my, he's just
He's done a couple.
I didn't read the second one.
He's done, like-
read that.
He's done
You
like
should.
Carnage
I recommend
USA. He did one that's like Carnage something, which kind of brings back Cletus Cassidy. That one's awesome because he has a line that is my favorite thing ever. The whole goal with that one is like this guy's suddenly coming out with like prosthetics, like arms and legs and stuff like that. No, this is just random doctor.
Oh, okay.
And they find out what's powering what's really making these prosthetics work is he's got like little bits of symbiote in them.
What the fuck,
And so they're all like,
dude?
this is probably a bad
Not
idea.
cool, man.
And then, there's-
Fine.
and then second thought is like, where are you getting this? by
Yeah,
the way?
don't
And he
worry
keeps going,
about it.
don't worry about
Don't
it.
worry about it.
I'm a scientist.
fine.
So
Yeah.
suddenly, some people start like getting slightly pissed, and
Of
then
course.
their prosthetics, become
Freak the fuck
symbiotes, and
out,
they start
yeah.
attacking.
It's fine.
They get down to the bottom of this bait. They're like, look, we got to get it at the source. We got to get it at the source. And they like keep going down, and then they find Cletus Cassidy. And they're just like, oh, you're still alive. He's like, yeah, I'm still a thing. He becomes Carnage. He gets out of the base, and they're running around, and there are like these 3 people who are like their symbiotes on their prosthetics are freaking out. He jumps in, absorbs them. You hear like it's all off panel, so you hear like shrieks or whatever.
Yeah.
And they turn around, and there's Cassidy in like a huge symbiote thing, and his line is literally, "Whoa, did it suddenly get badass in here?" And I love it.
Carnage has always been one of my absolute favorite villains because he's so unpredictable and completely unhinged.
That's why I love Superboy Prime.
Yeah,
It's the exact
Prime
reason.
is kind of fun too.
It's such a great kind of villain to challenge a superhero with because they've got to approach it totally differently. Like you can't appeal to their humanities like Spidey would do with like Green Goblin, or Doc Ock, or Venom, like those big 3. But they've all got like these human weaknesses to them. Cletus Cassidy is just a fucked up dude who just loves killing people. When he gets symbiote powers, that's like the scariest goddamn thing that could happen.
Exactly.
It's like in Superior Spider-Man, they did that arc with Massacre at the start. Who's a pretty scary motherfucker anyway, because he just gets a gun and he's just like, I don't care.
I'm gonna shoot everyone because
Captain Blasto.
But it's like Carnage is that guy on crack because he's got a symbiote,
yeah.
which just enhances all of your needs, and his need is just to kill people. So it's like the symbiote just makes it easier.
They're doing a miniseries for him right now called Superior Carnage. It's only going to be 5 issues. It's not that same artist, sadly. But they did like a crossover between Venom and Scarlet Spider called Minimum Carnage. It's really dumb.
Is it like I would imagine because it sounds like a rip-off of Maximum.
The name honestly is. It's really
sounds
dumb. The end ultimately results in Scarlet Spider essentially lobotomizing Cletus Cassidy.
Oof.
So he has like the talons or whatever. Literally just goes in his eye. There's nothing here. He's alive, but there's nothing here.
Ow, my face.
So literally, like it starts off with the first issue, like narrated by just some random schmuck in a prison, and he just goes, "I'm in a supervillain prison because we ran out of room in regular prison, literally." And he goes, "My lawyer told me to go ask my lawyer for advice." He goes, "Hit the strongest guy there." Yeah, that's not happening.
No.
And he's there when he sees like Venom, like the good guy Venom right now, and a doctor like just wheeling Cletus Cassidy, who's in a straitjacket and is also lobotomized. There's nothing there, and all of them are still getting. All the prisoners are still kind of going like, "Shit, maybe this isn't."
Don't
good.
bother him.
Yeah.
So they lock him up.
Leave him
There's a
alone.
prison outbreak. Again, he's just sitting there.
Is this?
As soon as the prison outbreak happens, Symbiote comes on him, starts killing everything because that's all it does.
Yeah.
It turns out this breakout is by a really boring Fantastic Four villain named the Leader.
What a fucking name.
Here's the best. No. It's that or the Wizard. It's the Wizard. Sorry.
Even better.
Wow. He's this really goofy looking bad guy, and he shows up and he's all like, "Yes, I am putting together a new frightful four." Literally. He's like,
Nice.
and his whole trick is apparently his helmet can mind control people.
Is this the Halloween episode?
No.
This is Frightful Four.
This is the
Treehouse of Horror.
Oh my god.
Fucking
This is like the first issue, and then he's telling all the guards because he's,
He's monologuing.
that's how we hear.
Yeah.
It's
a
just like,
villain's monologue.
I'm building a new Frightful Four, and Carnage will be the masterpiece. And so there's literally this great moment where, because he's planning on, mind controlling him, he clicks open the door and he's like, "Carnage to me," and you hear this, like this growling. It flies at him, and he's like, and then he literally stops and goes, "There's nothing in there." And then he almost dies in that first issue, and it was so funny. They managed to put him down. Symbiote goes off him. He's still an unconscious body. He literally just goes, "Let's try shocking him. Maybe that'll wake up his brain." So they electrocute him. They're like, "Anything?" And then the suit grows back and almost kills him again.
God damn it.
And I'm just laughing because, guys, just stop.
Just stop trying to fix
Just
it.
stop.
Just stop.
Leave it alone.
Just stop.
And I'm really hoping it's going to continue in the next issue. It's just this
So-
guy being like, "I will control Carnage," and
And then nothing.
then nothing.
So, case in point, I really like Stephen Crane. He's really good.
Hey, fair
Tangent. We're on a tangent.
I
No, that's
think
okay.
I haven't read enough comics to have a favorite artist.
The next thing you should read is probably the Stephen Crane.
I forgot to
miniseries.
bring you Blackest Night tonight.
I
Sorry.
hear you.
Do you have all of it now?
I did. I had to sell some of it back.
I get that.
I only have the I think the only one I have left is just the main one.
Okay, that's
Like
that's
the
all you
miniseries.
really.
That's
need.
really all you.
Like
Yeah.
the spin-offs of the miniseries are fucking great.
Yeah, the
but
Green
to know the
Lantern's
story,
really
you
good,
just
but
need the.
yeah.
Anyway, so moving on to another topic real quick because we are running.
We're running
not late, but
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not too worried about it. I wanted to talk about Drinking Quest, which I mentioned to you.
Okay,
in the
yeah.
second
What is
episode or
that?
the third episode.
I don't
Drinking
know what
Quest
that is, yeah.
is a tabletop
that?
RPG that I forget exactly how it says it on the website, but it's a tabletop RPG that involves your favorite beverages.
I'm done.
I like it.
I'm done right there. Brandon's a little. Brandon's feeling it.
I'm fine.
He's been drinking real
I'm
hard.
fine.
So
I'm
Drinking
fine.
Quest, literally, and I mentioned this because I noticed the other day that they released a phone application for it.
Mhm.
This is me sounding like a fucking 40-year-old calling it an application. But the app works in that you just pass the phone around like at the bar
Yeah.
or whatever, or like where you're drinking. But they also have it's
Dank
like
ass basement.
dank ass basement, whatever.
Gas basement mode.
Basement of a mansion.
Basement mode.
Like we established in
Yeah,
first
exactly. This is
episode.
the
This is-
dank ass basement of a mansion.
The mansion in
With
Springfield,
your
Missouri.
silent chainsaw juggling. Yeah, I
Yeah.
listened to the podcast.
And the dragons.
That's right. You
And
heard
the
me.
dragons.
Yeah, and the dragons.
Dragons.
Anyway,
Chilling,
so
chilling dragons.
you can also order it. It's made by a guy in Canada, and I cannot for the life of me remember his name. Will you look that up for me, Andrew? Because
Drinking Quest.
yeah,
No.
it's a tabletop.
I'm on its website right now.
Okay, yeah, I forget his name, but I really want to mention him because
Mm.
what I've seen of this game is fucking fantastic, and I keep meaning to buy the phone app on a day where I know we're all going to be together and we can play it. But basically, it functions just like a game of D&D, but you use like there's cards, so you don't have to like you still keep track of like your health and your
Sure,
experience
yeah.
and your money, but literally that's it.
Okay.
Like you have your health, your experience, and your money. So it's very
Sounds kinda
simple.
like Munchkin.
Yeah, and you're drunk, and instead of dying per se, whenever you die in the game, you just down your drink, which is what makes it a drink. There's also other times you take a drink.
Yeah, I figured.
And there's like 4 or 5 different quests. Like there's 3 of them. There's Drinking Quest 1, 2, and 3, and each ones have different characters. Except for I think Chuglocks is one of the ones that's like Chuglocks is like the barbarian guy. He's like super Scandinavian with the fucking like animal fur vest and just like
He's
drinking
legit.
meat all day.
He's legit.
He is. He's legit.
It looks like the creator's name is Jason Anarchy.
Thank you.
That's cool.
I don't think it's his real name,
Which
but
I
that's
doubt
the
is
name.
I doubt
his-
it's
is
his real
given
name.
That's not
No,
a real
but
last
that's
name.
what he goes by.
That's what
he
your
is credited
superhero
with
should be
writing
called.
and game design on the website. So
Yeah,
I
there you
assume
go.
it's his baby.
It's him, and he's the one on Twitter. But I found him because he followed me when I was drinking really heavily there.
Like I am
He
right
was like,
now.
I should get this guy to buy my game.
Well, I said something about D&D and drinking, and he was like, "Oh, this thing," and then he followed.
Boy,
me.
do I have a product for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so I followed him back, and then occasionally I tweet at him, and he responds. It's really nice because he's not so big that he like can't respond to everybody, but he's not so small that it's just like every time you tweet at him, he replies. So it kind of feels like
just
you're
the right
talking.
amount.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you're talking to somebody important.
I'm going to talk to him.
He actually goes to a lot of like conventions and shit like that.
Sweet.
But anyway, right now, I'm gonna call him on the phone right fucking
What's
now.
up, Jason?
What's your real name?
But his this game,
It's actually gonna be his real name, and we're all gonna be assholes.
fucking rad because there's also quest lines you do. I think there's 4, maybe 4 different quest lines, and each of the games have different ones, and they all work together a lot like Munchkin. So you can play them all within each other. I'm pretty sure.
I'm done.
And I keep meaning to buy it. But the reason I brought it up before is because now it's a phone app, and he's based out of Canada, so there's international shipping costs, which is sometimes a little rough.
Sure.
I know right now, I think the monetary values are in our favor.
Oh, okay.
So it's cheaper now.
It's a very, very small difference right now.
Yeah, exactly.
The exchange rate is always pretty similar between Canada and the US.
Yeah.
Shipping costs
So it's
on
like-
an app.
What?
Shipping costs on an app.
Brandon, I can't understand you.
He's saying
Shipping
shipping
costs
costs on
on
an
an
No,
app.
on like
You were
the
talking
actual
about the
game.
physical
Yeah, on the
game,
actual
yeah.
game. Brandon's
Okay,
drunk.
okay.
You can lay down, buddy.
I'm fine.
I'm
I'm fine.
fine.
We've lost one.
Yeah,
And,
that's all right though, because we're gonna end.
It's okay. I'm good.
Um,
I'm not drunk.
I'm good. I'm drunk.
I'm not drunk. No, it's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, so I really want to get this fucking game, and I wanted to bring it up to you guys to see if you would be interested in playing
definitely.
Because I mean,
yeah, man, why not?
yeah, I mean, I know we
I'm
try to do
interested.
D&D a lot, and for whatever reason, it always falls through. But I figured this way,
Yeah.
and it's literally like you don't have to play multiple, like you can play multiple times, or you can just sit down one fucking night and just play one fucking night,
Yeah.
and you don't have to keep your shit. But
One shot works well. Better.
works well better.
One shot works better.
Brandon's trying so hard right now.
Oh yeah.
It's adorable.
I'm trying.
So I name dropped the thing that I wanted to drop, and I still didn't get to talk about fucking writing, which is kind
You know,
next
4
time.
episodes
That'll be
we've
next
done
time.
this.
You know, it would be a half decent idea for future things. I don't know if I doubt anyone's got one prepared
Keep doing
now.
it, keep doing it.
But if we if everyone just had a thing of the week once in a while, or you know, if you don't have one every week, that's cool. But if you've got like a thing you just found that you really want to
In
kind
your
of
pocket.
plug
Yeah.
for the
sure.
30 people that are downloading this every
Yeah.
week or whatever,
Woo!
just get a name out there as much as possible. You know, it'd be cool
What's
to-
more impressive is that it's 30 people, and I'm pretty sure none of it is us.
Well,
Like,
some of
I
it's me.
don't.
I'll
I
be
don't.
honest, I haven't listened to any of them yet.
Yeah, I listen to
I
them
listen,
when I'm
like, once.
editing them,
Yeah.
but I don't download them.
I haven't downloaded it yet.
I'll listen to them like I don't think you download it. I know
No.
you don't download them. Brandon just streams it.
Yeah.
What?
And Ian just, if he listens to it at all, he would probably just stream it. So there's 30 people downloading it per episode. So woo, go us!
That's
We
probably
have
exciting.
30 people.
90
who-
views.
But yeah, I don't know, guys. Maybe if you just come across something neat over the next
You
week,
bet, yeah.
and you give me, maybe just take a note of it and plug it on here. It's the least we can do.
No, I love doing that.
I can't think of anything at the moment that's kind of caught my eye over the last week. But
Well, yeah, but next week we have the finale of Dexter. That
here's my plug of the week: GTA 5. You heard of it?
just go play it.
It's a
so-
pretty obscure little indie game, but
Oh, okay.
it's probably gonna sell like 10 copies.
Does anybody else? I know Brandon's out for the count. I don't care
No,
what
I'm
he says.
fine. I'm
Uh-huh,
fine.
yeah, okay.
I'm still here.
He's certainly next to the microphone.
I want to listen to this
I'm
and
here,
count out how many times you said I'm fine.
I'm
You
fine.
can, if you listen to it, I guarantee you'll be able to notice the slow decline of him.
if you
It's
drink
okay.
every time he says "I'm fine," you'll be just like him. Right?
The
I'm
best-
more sober now than I was when we started. It's
No,
okay.
this is the best part.
Drink every time you can't understand immediately.
Exactly. The best part was
Yeah.
at work today. He was talking to me. He's like, "So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have like a drink or two before we start, so that I'm drunk, and I'm gonna stop drinking halfway through, so that I'm sober at the end of it, and it'll be great, and I'll be totally fine with it." And then
I
he
am
just
sober.
gets shit face.
I am so. What are you talking about? I'm fine. I'm fine.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
I can,
Anyway,
I can get to the bathroom now by myself. It's okay.
oh, I don't know if you can, buddy.
Whether I need help getting to the bathroom.
So, okay, so does anybody have anything else to plug? Anything else they want to talk about real
I
quick?
plugged already the radio play I'm in called Montgomery Hotel. See if you can find it on the face page.
He means Facebook.
Yeah, I mean,
He says face
I
page
love
because
calling it
face
the I love
page.
calling it the
Yeah.
face page.
But for those who don't know you,
And then if you got anything else, it sounds like next week tune in for writing and the long-awaited Andrew rant of Dexter.
But see, for them it's not long awaited though because we never aired the first episode we did.
Gotcha.
All right, let me just hype you up then.
Oh,
So the last episode of
right.
Dexter airs
God.
this Sunday, and this season has been truly atrocious. And this comes from a longtime fan of the show. I truly adore the first 4 seasons
Long-time
of
fan,
Dexter.
first-time caller.
But this season of Dexter has been
Yes.
awful. On our unaired pilot, I probably spent 30 minutes ripping into it.
It was
did.
No, it was
It was
almost
like
an
30
hour.
minutes.
Like that pilot is about an hour and 45 minutes. Only 45 minutes of that was actual not Dexter shit.
And I have been saving a redux of that rant for the time when it's over. And I just let it all out at once.
We're
So,
so
Written
excited.
down, just fucking.
for those of you who are watching Dexter, just keep your fingers crossed for a turbo shitty ending this week. Because the worse the ending is, the more entertaining I promise to be next week.
It's true.
So,
Andrew is a critic. He does his best when things are terrible.
If you hate Dexter, or at least this season of Dexter, we're gonna have some fun next week.
And
That's my promise.
hopefully we'll also have Ian back next week. And god damn it, we're gonna have to. We might run a long episode like we did today.
This is pretty
Next
long.
week we might run a long episode because I'm also gonna try to have a guest. It might be your friend Mitch. It might be a local somebody that I might be able to get a hold of. But we're gonna try to have a guest next week.
149.
I'm fine with that.
Or fine.
But we'll
It's
try to have a
fine, I'm
guest.
fine.
Andrew, you'll be able to. I promise you'll be able to talk about Dexter.
It's-
Because goddamn it,
I'm excited.
If the fucking first time we recorded isn't entertaining.
whatever happens, happens.
Exactly. So until then, I think Brandon's down. Mitch,
I'm
you plug
fine.
everything you've got.
I'm fine.
Andrew, you got
I'm
everything
here.
you got.
I got nothing
I
else to say.
plugged the shit out of Drinking Quest again. Look for it. It's on the Android app. I don't know if it's iOS yet, but if you
I'm
have
gonna
an Android
Google it.
phone-
You should Google it too.
Yeah, exactly. If you can
Drinking
get it on your
Quest.
phone, it's like $9.06 or something. It's really not bad for a game that honestly is really fun to play, I assume. It looks really good. Anyway, this is Jake.
Andrew.
Brandon,
He's
I'm
trying.
here. I'm fine.
And I'm
it's
Mitch.
okay.
And I guess we will see you all next week, hopefully again with Ian and a special guest for your enjoyment.
And less moonshine.
And less moonshine for Brandon. We'll see you guys next week.
All hail Shovel Guy.
All hail Shovel Guy!
Shovel guy.
Fight Club.
My